What's up, everybody? Good morning. Hello. What's happening? Welcome in. Welcome back. Welcome to the kingdom of the ape. The apostate ape. The apostate ape. That's right. That one. Anyway, this is the channel where you can watch an undereducated hick from Alabama perform an intellectual takedown of the Christian faith, doctrine, and logic for your entertainment. But also, hopefully, to make the world a better place, make this ridiculous Christian nationalism hopefully go away. Because it's stupid. And it's mean and awful and horrible. Good morning. Thank you for that. Appreciate you, Aaron. Oh, also, if you are watching this as a replay on my YouTube channel, Apostate Ape, please consider subscribing to the channel. Throw me a like on the video. It really helps out a lot. Y'all know that Dr. Joshua Bowen is the best friend of this channel. And we love him. And he writes books that you can learn a whole lot of brilliant fucking knowledge from. So you should buy one, and you can help support the channel and Dr. Josh and his best friends, and also his awesome family by purchasing some of his knowledge, and you can learn some awesome stuff along the way. Also, this October, Huntsville, Alabama, it's going down, y'all. The Rocket City Reason Conference. Alabama needs some reason, so we're having some conferences. And for 3 whole days, you can hang out with some of the biggest names and atheist debaters and YouTubers out there. Excuse me. And you can get your tickets for that at rocketcityreason.com. So y'all should totally do that and totally hang out with some titans in the deconstruction community and the debate community and stuff. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Hello. Good morning, angry antitheist. Good morning, Aaron. What is up, y'all? Dr. Fax, what up? Polymagic, hello. Storm, what's going on? Howdy. Howdy. Anyway, we got the morning pleasantries out of the way there. Good morning, Jeffro. What's up? I guess y'all saw watching the old, whatever weird-ass platform you watch news on. You saw there was a ceasefire. Another one. I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction right now. This is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say the USA is taking a play out of Israel's playbook. And what they're going to do is declare a ceasefire, then claim Iran violated it, and then use that as the opportunity and justification to fire again, to say the least. Let's just say that there. What's it say? Howdy, Adam. All you got to do is touch the invite thing if you want to request up there. But anyway, there's my prediction for the day. Good morning. Good morning. Let's get this old stream started if we can here. Oh, maybe we got one. Logos bound. Hey, Logos, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How's it going, man?
Going good, man. Thanks for asking. Are you over 18 and are you a Christian?
Yes, I am both of those things. Yes.
Cool, man. Well, I was doing my stream today, and I feel like I should tell you that we're really sorry, but you've been lied to about this religion here.
Yeah, I understand. I would just like to hear your thoughts on it.
Well, the New Testament lied to you about all the prophecies that Jesus fulfills. He didn't actually fulfill any of them. It was one of the problems.
Okay, so do you want to go like problem by problem and like speak on it?
Yeah.
All right,
Do you
awesome.
think Jesus actually fulfilled any Old Testament prophecies?
Yes, I do believe he did.
Can you show us one of those?
Yeah, so you have which is one of the most famous ones, obviously, which is Isaiah 53, which I already believe you're probably going to have some backlash on that, but I'm ready to hear it.
Yeah.
So we have Isaiah 53, Isaiah 9:6. We have Zechariah 11, Zechariah 12:10, Zechariah 9:9. You have Micah, I believe it's Micah 5. I think it's Micah 5:10. It's in Micah.
Gotcha.
And it talks
Yeah,
about
it's
him
Micah.
being
Well,
born
it's
in Bethlehem,
5,
a
2.
ruler. Excuse me?
Mhm.
No,
Yeah,
go
Micah
ahead.
5, actually. I didn't know if you said 2 or 10, but it's Micah 5, 2.
Yeah, and then Isaiah
Anyway, yeah,
50,
all those
verse
are great
6.
examples. Yeah, well, let's start with what did
Sorry,
you
yeah,
say
let
first?
me stop.
Isaiah
I'm
53?
sorry about that, man. Okay.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. So let's go with Isaiah 13 first. Why would you think that's about Jesus?
Isaiah 13?
Yeah, 53, sorry.
Oh. Well, because it speaks about
I
his
did say
death, burial,
13.
and
I didn't mean to.
resurrection within that one chapter, if I can break it down for you.
Well, I know the chapter pretty good. I'm just wondering what makes you think specifically what links this to being about Jesus, a prophecy about Jesus.
The fact that there's a suffering servant that will take on the sins of the people, and that it speaks about a resurrection within that same chapter, which is exactly what Jesus fulfills.
Where does Isaiah 53 say anything about a resurrection?
Yes, let me open it up and show you. Actually, hold on. Yeah, hold on. Let me see. I'm just opening up my computer real quick, if you don't mind. Not trying to take too long.
Yeah, you're good.
All right,
No, of
awesome.
course not.
Also, while I'm opening it up, I just want to say I'm not here to, insult, call names, do what other people do.
Yeah, me either, man.
Okay, awesome, okay. So, Isaiah 53, and I can show you right here. I'm always gonna have my computer ready. This is what happens. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Let me just memorize it from scripture. Okay. Who has believed our report, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of dry ground. He has no form or comeliness. And when we see him, there is no beauty we should desire him. He is despised and rejected by man, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. Okay. So I believe this is verse 3 right here. Okay. Right here. This is where it talks about the resurrection. If I can just break down there's only 12 verses, if you don't mind me breaking it down for you.
We don't have to do all of them.
Okay. Okay, let me just go to the one.
You're talking about where does verse 3 suggest a resurrection?
Not verse 3, excuse me. Let's see. Right here. It's verse 8 all the way to 12. If that would be okay for me to read.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So it says, he was taken from prison and from judgment, and who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgressions of my people he was stricken. And he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He has put him to grief. When you make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. He shall see the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. Therefore I will divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong, because he poured out his soul unto death, and was numbered with the transgressors, and he bore the sin of many and made intercession for the transgressors. Now here's where the resurrection is. If he's cut off from the land of the living for the transgressions of the people, and then you have 2 verses later, he's seeing the work of his soul, what his soul was sacrificed for. He shall see the travail of his soul and be satisfied. On top of this, it says he shall see his seed and his days shall be prolonged. A verse after it talks about him dying. So when I die, I'm not going to see the travail of my soul. When I die, my days aren't prolonged. They're actually cut short. So how is he having prolonged days and seeing his seed, which is the children that will believe in his name, if he doesn't resurrect? That's a staple Isaiah is speaking in.
That's a great question, and that's easily explainable here. And you've just unveiled one of the many lies of the New Testament. What does that say? That verse you just read there. What does it say? You will see satisfaction through?
His soul.
No. Satisfaction through what though?
He will have satisfaction through the travail of his soul. He will be satisfied by seeing the work his soul was used for.
Well, read that first sentence in verse 11 there again.
Okay. He shall see the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many.
That was the end of the sentence there.
Oh, okay. So
it says you're justified by knowledge, right?
That's not what that says.
You literally just read it. It says knowledge.
Well, no. What it's saying is when it says he shall see the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied, God's making another No, not through his knowledge. That's not what it says.
Okay, read it one more time. Read the first.
Let me read the second part because that's the part we're having an issue on, right?
No, I'm trying to get you to address that part we just said. The word knowledge is in there. You just read it.
Well, it's okay. So he shall see the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous
satisfied by knowledge.
That's not what that says, man. That's ingenuous.
You literally just read it.
Hold on.
You literally just read it.
Hold on, but you're not making.
How are you going to read it and then tell me I'm disingenuous about what you just read?
Well, it's because you're not making distinctions. You're not reading it properly. You're adding everything together, which you cannot do. In this, like,
do words and context mean anything at all to you?
No, they do. But guess how? When God is speaking here, He's talking about multiple topics of what's going to happen. It doesn't mean that they're all the same thing. So God can make multiple points in a chapter. It doesn't mean that all those points...
Sure. Okay, I'm talking about the point of the sentence you just read.
Okay.
It says you will be satisfied by knowledge.
It does not say that.
Okay, read that first sentence again.
You're saying he shall be satisfied by knowledge. It says, by his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many. It doesn't mean that the satisfaction is coming from the knowledge.
Okay, fine. You will be justified by knowledge.
That's not what that says, man. Come on. Are we really going to...
Oh my God. Like, you literally just read it. Like, I heard you say it.
All right, brother. I want you to read it and see if it's saying he'll be satisfied by knowledge.
Okay, I will. What version are you reading?
King James Version. New King James. It doesn't matter. It's not saying he's satisfied by the knowledge he possesses. That's not what that's saying.
I know. That's yes, it is.
Then let's read it. Here. I mean, you can read it. I want you to read it.
Verse 11. He shall see the labor of soul and be satisfied. By his knowledge, my righteous servant shall justify many.
So you don't understand. God ended the verse and is speaking on a different thing. He's not connecting it, right? That's why there's a dot. But if we go
so this don't have anything to do with the suffering servant here?
I'm not saying it doesn't. But you're saying that the reason he's satisfied is because of the knowledge. But that's not true.
It says, hold on, listen to the words. By his knowledge, my righteous servant will justify many. By knowledge, they will be justified.
Yeah, by his knowledge, my righteous servant shall justify many. Hold on. Why are they justified? For he shall bear their iniquity.
They're justified because they now have knowledge.
You're ignoring the verse. Please, let's stick to it.
No, I'm trying to address the verse.
Brother,
you're just telling
me.
You're
ignoring the for he shall bear their iniquities part, man. You're ignoring that.
We can get to that. But right now, I'm talking about the verse you just read.
You're trying to add...
By his knowledge, my righteous servant will justify many. So they're justified by knowledge, yes?
Dude, yes, sure. But at the second part of that sentence...
That's it. Yeah, that's all I was asking you. That's all we needed to know. I haven't got to the second... I haven't got to the second part yet. I was literally just trying to get you to address that one part.
Okay, so first you were trying to say that he's satisfied because of the knowledge. That's what you try to say.
Satisfied. He shall see the labor of soul and be satisfied. He shall be justified through knowledge.
What? He shall be justified? No, it's not about his justification. It's about the people's. What are you talking about?
I know that.
So why did you say he shall be justified?
All right, I'll tell you what. Let's just make this a lot easier since obviously we're not going to get anywhere with it. I don't know why you can't answer simple questions, but
bro, you just butchered 11 and you're making me sound dishonest.
I didn't butcher it. I'm literally just asking you a question about it, and you're telling me I'm being dishonest by asking you a question.
Because you're lying on what it says.
You refuse to answer because you think it's leading somewhere.
No, you're just lying on what it's saying, though.
I've literally just read it.
You
How am I
didn't do
lying
that.
about reading
Okay.
it?
You are adding sentences that are finished into another sentence.
I
That's not how
literally read
language
it
works.
word for word.
Hold on.
I read the damn thing
That's
word
not
for
how
word.
language even works, bro. Like, you're
Okay, so
adding.
tell us how language works
Okay.
if the words don't mean anything.
No, I'm not saying they don't mean anything. You're saying a Christian saying the Bible don't mean nothing. That's how I know you're being disingenuous. Just try to listen to what I'm saying,
That's
please.
not even what I said. You need to
Try to
try to
listen to what I'm
listen.
saying, please. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to read it one more time.
Oh
Who
my
shall
no,
see
we
the
don't
labor
need
of his
that.
soul and be satisfied?
Oh my
By his knowledge, my righteous servant shall justify many. So he's justifying many by knowledge. Yes?
But read the second part.
There's a whole bunch more parts to this.
Well, no, because you're literally purposefully leaving that out because that's what God is saying.
He's bearing their
What God
iniquities.
is saying.
It's not a secret.
Hold on. What God is saying actually justifies is him bearing the iniquities. The knowledge is a byproduct. So you're trying to say, oh, the knowledge is what specifically saved them. No. It's talking about him bearing their iniquities. That's what you're ignoring, man.
I'm not ignoring it. I haven't even got to that part yet. You refuse to let me progress with asking you a question.
Well, because I had to address you butchering the first part of 11.
I just fucking read it, man.
All right, you need to calm down. I'm just, because you're being disingenuous.
You need to listen. You're really starting to anger me now because you are not listening. You're calling me disingenuous for asking you about part of a damned verse. Yeah, he ran, of course. Anyway, let's see here. Who's right in reading this? Even if you can't be wrong, I'm just reading it. By his knowledge, my righteous servant shall justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. For by his knowledge, knowledge. Yeah, it says knowledge. Like, yeah, in words happening. Anyway, let's go up to Barnyard Pimp. Up here.
Hey, I must have requested by accident. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, no worries, man. I didn't even say I was waiting for you to load in. My bad. No, it happens, though. Don't worry. Farkia, let's see if they're here.
Yo.
Yo, what's up, man? Are you
Hey, man, how you
over
going?
18?
You well?
Going good. Are you over 18 and are you a Christian?
Yeah, no, I'm 36. Yes, correct.
All right. You're one of the Christians?
Yeah, I'm Orthodox, mate. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, man. So I'm sorry, but you've been lied to about the religion here.
I've been lied to.
Because Jesus doesn't actually fulfill any messianic prophecies, and he was never even a Messiah.
He was. Yeah, okay. That's your belief, but you were once a Christian.
Yeah. Well, I can show you how it's true.
Yeah. Well, I'm not asking that. I was getting to something else. I want to understand why you're so hurt that you don't believe in Jesus anymore.
Because I've read the Bible and it doesn't. It's not.
You read the Bible. I don't feel like you just read the Bible and then you're upset. Like there's multi-millions of people that believe in Jesus and they still believe in Jesus, but you're the prophecy that doesn't believe in Jesus after reading the Bible.
Yeah, I quit being a Christian because I read the Bible because it doesn't add up. Like the New Testament says, Jesus fulfills all these prophecies. But if you just go read it, it doesn't actually fulfill any of them. They don't.
So do you believe in the Old Testament, or
no?
You do?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you don't believe in the Old Testament.
I'm not Jewish or Christian. No.
Okay, it's just a question. I wasn't asking what religion you were.
Yeah, I don't believe it, so I'm not. Yeah, I'm not Jewish. Of course, I don't believe it.
I was just gonna say, I'm sorry. I thought you looked at. That's all.
Oh no. So, do you think Jesus did fulfill these prophecies?
Yeah. And he still hasn't finished either.
Like, he hasn't finished.
No, he's not done yet.
Oh. Well, you can't fulfill a prophecy until it's actually fulfilled.
Well,
so if he hasn't finished it, then it's not fulfilled, is it?
One day he will come back.
Oh.
And also in the Islamic religion, they believe he will come back one day.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. He'll come back to fight the Antichrist in the Islamic religion. You might want to look that up.
He's just a prophet. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
he's a prophet, but they still believe he'll come back and fight the Dajjal. You might want to look that up. Just type in Google.
Like a warrior prophet.
Will Jesus come back and fight the Antichrist in Islam? Google it quickly, and then it will say yes.
I'm okay. I'm not here to argue about it.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, you want to talk about religion. You want to talk about religion.
I don't
because
think he ever died.
at the end of the day, Muslims believe that in the Old Testament as well. So yes.
Yeah, they don't believe Jesus ever died either. So
no, he was raised. He was raised to
believe?
heaven. He never died. He was raised to heaven, and now he's in heaven in the religion, which I don't believe in, but I do read other religions as well. So
maybe don't bring up religions you don't believe in, though.
no, why can't I read in anything, mate? I can read anything I want. At the end of the day, you know why? Because I've got free will.
I hear you.
Don't get upset about it.
Okay, so why do you think Christianity is true?
Because that's what I believe, mate. I don't have to prove it to you. I don't have to prove anything.
So it's true because you believe it?
Yeah, of course. Just like you telling me it's not true. It's the same thing.
Okay. No, I can actually prove it, though.
Okay, tell me.
I did. Jesus doesn't fulfill any of these prophecies. It's bogus. They lied. I'm just trying to tell you it's a lie. You don't have to be in this class anymore.
Which one?
Yeah, you can just leave. Christianity.
Which one?
Which one what? Prophecy?
Yeah, which prophecy?
Oh, none of them. It doesn't fulfill a single one.
No, read one to me so everyone can understand. You got an audience. You got about 73 people in here currently.
Right.
We're having
just for example, do you think Jesus was born from a virgin as per a prophecy in the Old Testament?
Correct.
All right. You know what prophecy that's from in the Old Testament?
I couldn't quite, not off the top of my head.
It's in Isaiah chapter 7.
Okay.
All right. So do you care about context and stuff, or?
No, but you read what you want to do. At the end of the day, you're the host. You can do what you want to do. I'm going to listen, regardless if I agree with you or not. Like, I'm going to listen to you.
Well, sure. I'm just asking you though. But do you care about the context?
Read everything.
Do you care about the context?
Not at all.
Okay. Well, there's no point reading it to you then. It's a waste of time because you don't give a shit.
I'm going to listen to your opinion and then I'll respond to you. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, but you don't. You just told me you don't care about the context. It doesn't matter what I read to you because you don't care.
Now you're just looking for an excuse for me to leave.
Well, just leave. Why would I continue a conversation if you don't care?
Because you actually know that I've got something to say and you don't want me to respond to you after you read it.
How do you already know what you're going to say when I read this to you?
Because I will have a response to you.
You will?
Why wouldn't I? Like, you didn't read anything. Why can't I have a response?
Oh, well, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll go ahead and entertain you then.
Perfect.
So this is a prophecy in Isaiah chapter 7 to King Ahaz about the Assyrian invasion into Judah, and it never says anything about a Messiah being born from a virgin. It never says anything about a virgin in the Hebrew. So what do you think about that?
What did you just read just then? Did you just summarize something?
I didn't read anything. Yeah, I just summarized the chapter here.
You summarized the whole chapter in about 2 sentences.
Yeah.
That is actually the most fantastic thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, so was I wrong?
Yeah, you were wrong. And I don't know
which part was I wrong about?
That. You were wrong about everything.
Which part?
It said multiple times that Jesus was born from a woman that was a virgin.
All right, so show me in the Hebrew where it says anything about a Messiah being born from
in
a virgin.
Hebrew, or can I quote you in any other language?
You can quote me in another language.
What language?
I'm talking about the Hebrew.
Question. What languages did Jesus speak?
Jesus spoke Aramaic.
Only?
As far as we know.
As far as you know, or as far as we know, including me?
Well, you don't know because nobody knows. You can't.
So how do you know
he was bilingual because there's no record of Jesus speaking other languages.
Okay, so Jesus didn't speak Hebrew and he didn't speak Greek.
Yeah, can you address Isaiah 7 now? This was written in Hebrew, so
okay, so
the language it was written in.
Read it out so everyone can hear. You got 78 people now. Go for it.
Okay. Well, therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Look, the young woman is with child and shall bear a son and shall call him Emmanuel. So, did you hear the word virgin in it anywhere in there?
No, she'll bear a child. Not in that verse, no.
Oh, well, it don't say virgin, does it?
Not in that verse, no.
It don't say virgin in any verse.
Okay,
In
I'll get
Isaiah
back
chapter
to you
7.
and I'll go teacup because I'm only on my phone. I don't have a computer in front of me like as you do, so I'll be back in a second.
Okay. It's Zach Laser Hoffman! Whoop, 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 whoop. What up, dog? Let's see. Whoop, whoop, whoop. He's going to go read a modern translation and see the word virgin in there. He's going to say, look, here it says virgin. And I'm going to say, show me in Hebrew.
I can hear when you're talking. You know that. Now, you want
Yeah, I
it
do.
in Hebrew or do you want it in a translation or what do you want? Can you read Hebrew? Because I can't.
I can read some Hebrew.
You can read Hebrew? Well, I can't. But I can read Greek. So do we want to write it in Greek or?
This isn't written in Greek. It's written in Hebrew.
Yeah, but Jesus spoke Greek as well. So what do you want me to say?
Jesus didn't. Show me anywhere that says Jesus spoke Greek.
God, you know everything, dude. You know everything. You're the smartest guy.
I want to say he knows he's teacupped, but
Just before we keep going, before you want quotes, it's just a simple Google search or anything you want to use, any search engine, any religious education website you want to quote. Just type in "Did Jesus?" What languages? Let's just do that. Simple. Did Jesus speak?
Jesus spoke Aramaic.
And what else did he speak? You know, like people back in the day, like you speak to Egyptians, like Egyptians can speak about 7 languages. It's not like now where people are
That's fantastic. So where does it say virgin in the actual Hebrew?
Yeah, exactly. Look, before you even get to virgins, mate, like it's got it in multiple sources that Mary was a virgin. You know it, I know it. You just don't want to admit it. It's a simple.
I've never denied that. So if you could just listen to what I'm actually getting
Perfect.
at here,
1 second, and I'll get back. We'll go to Isaiah 7:14.
Yeah, that's what I just read. Therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. Look, the young woman is with child and shall bear a son and shall name him Emmanuel. That's what Matthew is quoting in Matthew chapter 1. He's saying Jesus fulfilled this prophecy. And he's quoting Isaiah chapter 17, or chapter 7, verse 14, which says in Hebrew, Ha'almaha ura, hora, ha'almaha hora. That means a young woman is with child currently pregnant. A young woman who's clearly not a virgin because she's pregnant. Matt, what up, dog? I hadn't seen you in a while, man.
Luke 1:34.
What? I'm asking about Isaiah 7.
Luke 1:34.
I'm talking about Isaiah. Let's take up the lot.
She was never intimate with a man. Like, you know it, I know it. It's simple.
I know the stories from the New Testament. That's not what I'm asking you about. That's why I started.
So what do you want?
That's the New Testament lied about the context of the Old Testament. That's why I'm.
Okay, so you're saying she's not a virgin. So is that what you're saying?
I'm saying there's no prophecy in the Old Testament about a Messiah being born from a virgin.
Yeah, but why would there need to be? Did they say that the Messiah needed to be born?
There needs to be because the New Testament says there is one, and there's not. So the New Testament is lying. That's why I said you've been lied to.
I don't agree with you whatsoever.
Well, I can show you. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, I'm all ears. I'm still listening. I'm not trying.
Okay, so Matthew is quoting verse 14 from Isaiah 7, right? My man.
Yo, what's going on?
What it is, big dog? What you up to?
Dude, just getting ready for the day. I was just hoping to throw in really quick on this if possible. Fark, is that how you say that? What's going on, man?
Hey, good man. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Hey, I was thinking that it might help to clarify what I think Ape is trying to say. I just so you know, I studied textual criticism seminary, fairly recently in my life, been questioning a lot of things. So, I'm always loving having these conversations with people. On this particular point, it's commonly understood in scholarship, even from the greatest apologists like James White, people like that this verse in Isaiah 7 uses the word Alma in Hebrew. Okay, so, and that word means young woman, specifically distinct from the word that is used for virgin. So now it can mean a young woman who is a virgin, by the way, that is possible. But the word Alma, particularly in this context, is talking about a young woman who is currently with child. So Isaiah 7 by itself, when you read it in context, isn't actually prophesying anything about a Messiah. Whereas Matthew quotes Isaiah 7 as if it is prophesying not just a young woman giving birth, but a young virgin giving birth to the Messiah. And the reason why, at least in textual criticism, the reason why it seems that the writer of Matthew made this mistake is because they're quoting the Greek Septuagint, which is a Greek translation of the Hebrew. Okay. And the word that was used in the Greek Septuagint is parthenax, which does mean virgin, but can also mean young woman as well, by the way. But it seems to be saying that it is a virgin. So really, I don't think it's a intentional, malicious lie, at least from a textual critical standpoint. It seems to be just a simple misunderstanding because they didn't speak the Hebrew, the writer of Matthew. So they were quoting from the Greek Septuagint, to your point that the person writing Matthew would be speaking Greek. So that's the reason why there's this confusion about this passage. Does that make sense?
Yeah, in some respect, yes.
Yeah, so it's just a textual critical point to be made. That doesn't mean that the New Testament
She wasn't or she was.
claiming. What's that?
It doesn't mean that she was or she wasn't. Is that what you're trying to say?
Right. I'm trying to say that it doesn't mean that the New Testament isn't claiming that Mary was a virgin. I believe it very clearly is claiming that Mary was a virgin. But to make a point that there was some Old Testament prophecy that necessitates that the Messiah will be born of a virgin is simply fallacious. That's not.
I never said that. I said that she was born from a virgin. That's what I said.
Right. That's what the New Testament claims. You're correct about that. But what isn't the case is that the Old Testament does not What's that?
Are you agreeing with me or the host right now?
Well, what I communicated to you is what the host was communicating to you.
Okay, so he agrees that he was born from a virgin.
That the New Testament claims that he was born from a virgin, yes.
So if we go to the Old Testament, though, who believes in the Old Testament?
What's that?
Which religions believe in the Old Testament?
I mean, at least Judaism and Christendom, of course.
And Islam?
Except Christendom don't.
What's that?
And Islam as well?
Sure. Islam, maybe, to a degree.
Yeah, well, majority, let's say 95%.
Yeah.
Does Islam believe that Mary was a virgin?
Wait, what did you ask?
Does Islam believe that Mary was a virgin as well?
I think they do. It seems like they do.
Now, you've got multiple religions that don't believe exactly the same thing, but there's one thing they can believe in. Who do you think's right?
So
interpretation?
So y'all believe in a prophecy about a virgin that's not even in the Bible?
Yeah, okay. Huh?
Well,
Let's
also
say
the question,
Ayapana year
the
wasn't
question I would
involved.
ask is the
Let's
question
say
that I would ask to that is if there are lots of people who believe something, does that make it true?
no, it doesn't. But you've got multiple differing religions that don't believe in the same thing, believing in one thing.
Well, because that's the tradition.
It's tradition now. Okay.
No, that is the traditional belief. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I'm exaggerating your point.
That is the traditional belief. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but whether that's true or not is a different question, though, isn't it?
Well, anything can be true in life.
It can't be true if there's no prophecy being fulfilled about a virgin. That's what I'm saying. The New Testament, Christians and Islam think there is a prophecy about a virgin Messiah being born when there's not. It doesn't exist. You can't fulfill a prophecy that doesn't exist.
Okay.
It kind of took on a new life of its own in the Christian tradition, starting in the 2nd century, right? So, since it started to take on that life of its own, it became a very popular belief, of course, because it was initially spread by Rome. So, yeah, I mean, this is a very popular belief. I agree with you. What's your point about that?
Do you not think that anything from the year 2,000 years ago, let's call it the year zero, which a lot of people don't agree with, do you think that anything from back then was true, like passed down through generations?
I think it's really difficult to ascertain what actually happened based on historical accounts. History is tough. It's written by the victors, right? So, yeah, I think it's very difficult to ascertain what actually happened during those times.
There's winners and losers, and through winners and losers, we can talk about religion. You can talk about wars between religion, but there's one common denominator between religion. Just like now, there's a war going on between religion.
I mean, what is that question getting at? As far as do you think any of it's true? Like, to what? Like,
I think
what point are you trying to make?
In what's actually? Yeah.
Because I mean, do you believe Emperor Nero existed?
You talking to me or
that was for you, Farkia?
Yeah.
Right. Do you believe he resurrected from the dead?
No.
Right. So you can have a claim about things that actually existed, but not believe everything that was said about him, right?
So he resurrected himself, or by people, or
no? It's believed that he was resurrected after he died by certain people. He, it's not true. It's not true, obviously, but
yeah, but by who? That's what I'm asking. By who was it?
That's irrelevant.
No, it's not, because I could say that by the people that were there at the time of Jesus, he was resurrected. So
that's exactly what I'm saying.
You saw Nero get resurrected.
20,000 people went to war under the resurrected Nero.
They went to war?
Parthians.
Yeah, they believed he was resurrected, and they went to war.
And there's 6 different surviving accounts of this, too.
Is there? 20,000 people?
Yeah.
Went to war for Nero after he got resurrected.
Yeah.
Tacitus, the same guy that mentions Jesus, also says the Emperor Vespasian healed blind people before a multitude of witnesses. So Emperor Vespasian, who destroyed the temple in Jerusalem, also healed blind people according to a multitude of eyewitnesses.
We also have eyewitness accounts that that saw the golden plates and that affirm Mormon belief. I mean, eyewitness accounts are not necessarily reliable. I think you would agree with that. And not by themselves. You need other corroborating evidence.
So what you're saying now is going against what the host is saying regarding the book.
What do you mean? No, it's not. Very much. Well, tell me what you think. What you think I'm saying? Maybe you misunderstood me.
I feel like you guys are trying to blow things out of context by saying certain things. Like now we're talking about Nero, who set everything on fire, who came back to life.
It's a parallel. It's a parallel to what
people
you're
that
doing.
would call the war after him.
Do you understand why I brought up Nero?
No, I still don't understand why you brought up Nero, because I can bring up multiple emperors.
Right. So I brought up Nero because I'm telling you that you can have actual people in history as part of your historical fiction, right? Nero existing is true. Nero being emperor is true. Nero rising from the dead is not true. But it's said about a real person. So that's the same thing here, right? There can be real people and real events and real places in the Bible that doesn't make what is said about them true.
But you can't. Going back to your point, now this is getting very deep, so I'm going to get deep too. So you got 20,000 people in the whole of where? We're going to talk about the Roman Empire.
Holy shit.
Back then. What year was Nero?
None of this matters.
Okay, so nothing matters now. Okay.
No, none of the details about it matter.
I was getting to your point to go back to my point.
Yeah.
It sounded like he was taking a piss.
For sure. Which is fine, dude. I'm glad you're relaxed. Look, man.
I'm on the toilet right now.
All in all, it
no, it's not me.
Claims that we have about, especially miraculous claims when it comes to this potential person, Jesus, we don't have any corroborating evidence. We don't have any reason to believe that these things actually happened in history. And so, we were trying to point to congruency with Old Testament prophecy with Jesus that fell apart as we talked about that. So what reason do we have to think that these things even happened?
Yeah, why do you think Jesus even existed? Why do you even know he was a real person?
Oh, man, that's from accounts from people that were there at the time. That's it. He was written about.
There's none.
He wasn't written about. He wasn't at all? No one saw him?
Not contemporarily, wasn't?
Not contemporary.
We have no eyewitness accounts. We don't have any historical corroborating data to back up.
Okay, just a quick question. You're from America, yeah?
Yes.
George Washington existed.
What year? Huh? What?
I said George Washington existed. We have evidence.
You got evidence?
Yeah, okay. Just getting ahead of you.
George Washington. I was just going to say, what exact date was America invaded?
Invaded by what?
Invaded by what? What date was it landed?
You mean like you are talking about
1619?
In general, 1619 by who? How do you not know it was 3,000 years ago?
Wait, what point are you trying to demonstrate in regard to?
I'm trying to tell you that you don't know the exact date of what I just asked, because I can turn a question to anything I want to ask.
Fine. What does that have to do with whether Jesus existed?
Because Jesus existed. You know it. I know it.
How?
Multiple people have seen him.
We don't know it.
Who?
Multiple religions have seen him.
Who? No, hold on.
Religions that
who saw
multiple
him?
religions.
Who
saw him?
Who saw him?
In what way? I'd say Pontius Pilate. Possibly. Do you believe in Pontius Pilate?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of him?
Yeah.
You believe in him?
But how do we know whether he saw him?
How do we know that Pontius Pilate existed? How do we know that
the Pilate stone?
Contemporary evidence.
Yeah. How do we know that he
evidence?
Saw Jesus?
Yeah. So did Pontius Pilate exist? A question.
Yes.
Okay. Did Pontius Pilate execute people and crucify them?
Totally.
Okay. Is it a possibility that when Jesus was alive?
No, I want to know
even if he wasn't.
How we know whether he.
No. So Pontius Pilate was alive, but Jesus Christ wasn't. So what evidence do you have that Pontius Pilate was alive and Jesus Christ wasn't?
We have corroborating evidence. We have the Pilate stone. We have Roman record. We have lots
Roman
of
record.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have lots of corroborating.
In what respect? What Roman?
We have lots of corroborating evidence to demonstrate the historicity of a person named Pontius Pilate who
Tacitus wrote about him.
Yeah, we have plenty of corroborating contemporary evidence about Pilate.
So did Pontius Pilate crucify Jesus Christ or not?
We don't have evidence of that.
It's literally impossible if you believe Luke's account.
That's true.
Okay. So we don't have evidence of that, but we've got evidence of Pontius Pilate.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So just like we have evidence of, just like we have evidence of London, but we don't have evidence of Harry Potter. Yeah, or just like we have evidence of New York, but we don't have evidence of Spider-Man.
Just like we got evidence of fucking America, and we don't have an evidence of like a country that never existed. Like, what do you want to say to that?
That did not.
I don't know if this dude's okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you're fully there, dude.
Oh, so now it's on me.
Yeah,
But like,
you're not.
well,
You're
yeah.
not.
Well, you're
Pontius
saying
Pilate was
really
around back
strange
then, but
things.
Jesus Christ wasn't.
Like you're not able to track.
So I
a
can
linear
actually
point.
say something outrageous, but when I say it, it doesn't make sense. But when
It's
you say
outrageous
it
to
makes
say
sense.
we don't have evidence for Spider-Man.
No, but like Batman did exist, dude.
Yeah.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman. Damn right. I am.
Why so
You're good at it.
serious?
Canning, you're actually fantastic at it.
Thank you. So again, I would love to get more into that. Actually, we have an awesome guy on the panel who specializes in data science and the historicity of Jesus and other things.
The man,
Yeah.
the myth,
And
the legend.
if we could get into the details of that. Do you think that we have anything that confirms the historical Jesus?
I don't think I need to say anything else, man. You guys have got your mind set. Like, I can't even convince you that the world's fucking turning right now. So,
Oh yeah, you could. We agree with you on that.
No, what you can't convince is a Bible believer because the Bible says that world is flat.
That was a projection. What you just did. That was
Yeah.
a projection.
oh god.
Do you believe the world is flat?
Did I just say? What did I just say? Were you listening?
Yeah. I'm curious if you believe the world is flat. I just want to confirm that you don't.
No.
Right. So you don't believe the Bible.
No, man. Do you think back then they knew everything about the Earth?
God supposedly did, and these are
We don't
God's
think they knew
words.
squat about the Earth.
Do you think that in when the first moon landing? Do you believe in that?
Yeah, 1969, July 20th. Do you think when the Bible says that
Do you
God
believe
is
in it or
speaking-
not?
Yes. Do you think that when the Bible says God is speaking, that God is speaking?
Yes,
Do you think that God is all-knowing?
of course.
Why would an all-knowing God say that the earth is flat?
God said that himself.
Yeah.
No, I thought in your eyes God didn't exist.
I'm asking
Jesus.
you about your
Yes.
worldview.
I'm asking you.
No, the book is bullshit. The world
No,
is
so read the chapter.
Did you just say I'm asking me?
Read
Yeah,
the
Job
Come on.
38:14.
Read it to me, I'm saying. If I go and read it, it's going to leave me from this conversation. You think I'm ditching you. Read it to me. I don't have a computer in front of me. That's all I'm trying to
It says the Earth is formed like clay beneath the seal. That's a flat stamped disc.
It's what, sorry?
It says the Earth is formed like clay beneath the seal. A clay seal is a flat circle disc. Like it should be.
When you look out into the horizon, how far can you say?
A few miles.
A few miles. What's the biggest flat seal disc that you've ever seen in your life?
Jesus Christ. I'm telling you, he can't track. Your
Well,
brain,
say it,
there's
man.
something wrong with your
You're
brain.
talking about it. How big is it, dude?
There's something wrong with your
The
brain.
sun disc
We're
in
talking
South
about
America is like 13 foot wide, and I've seen other ones that are like an inch wide. So
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. But this bro can fucking say 3 miles.
we're talking about
now you think the
connecting.
Earth's
We're talking
flat,
about
right?
connecting A and B.
I
We're
didn't
talking
say
about
that.
two
I'm saying
roll-ups.
as far as you can see, the Earth looks flat, but it's not.
Inference engine.
So again, would
it look flat to
an
God?
all-knowing God know that even though the Earth looks flat from a human perspective, it is not?
What did you say?
Would an all-knowing God know that even though the Earth looks flat from a human perspective, that it is not flat?
Mate, you know what I'm going to say to you right now? How about you go back to the quote and go back to your flat plate that you're talking about that's 6 inches wide and explain to me how the Earth's flat. Go ahead.
The Earth isn't flat. Your dumb book says it is.
My dumb book. Have
Yes.
you looked in the mirror or not?
Hey,
Have I looked what?
Jesse, I got to drop down. You guys got this. Much love, everybody.
Have a good one.
See you guys a little bit later.
Good to see you, man.
Did you ask if I looked in the mirror?
Yeah, I did because you're not
Am I
listening
a
to what I'm
book?
talking about.
What am I
You're
going to see
talking
in the
about
mirror?
one chapter to explain to me the chapter where he said the Earth's flat. That's what I'm getting at.
The host just read it to you.
And then when I responded with something. So now keep going.
Does the Earth have corners? Can it get shaken out like a rug?
Are you asking me a question or are you asking your host now? Because I said the Earth's not flat.
Yeah, but your book says it is.
No, they do not.
I just told you where it does, and I just gave you 2 more examples.
But that does not mean it's flat in your
It
example.
literally means it's flat.
Read it again and explain it to me.
It's already been read to you, Sweet Pea.
Okay, little bunny. Keep going.
I don't know.
Do you know
more
what
you
clay
need.
beneath the seal looks like? Have you ever seen a clay seal?
I've seen a clay seal. And it's not that
Have you
big.
ever seen a spherical clay seal?
A spherical clay seal. So I've got 1,000 kilometers square. Yeah? 1,000 kilometers square. Do you know what a kilometer is? It's 1,000 square meters.
You ever seen a clay
Do you
seal?
understand? Or do you want to talk about miles? Which one would you
You ever
prefer?
seen a clay seal?
Keep going. Yeah, I have. We'll go back to your conversation.
Okay, so it looked like a flat disc, didn't it?
Flat disc.
It looked
yes.
like a plate.
Flat.
A flat plate.
Mm.
Yeah, so when the Bible says the earth is formed like clay beneath the seal, it's
What's
saying
the
it
biggest
looks like
clay
a clay
seal you've ever seen? That's what it looks like. That's what I'm trying to say. You look out to the horizon. The
It
horizon
looks like a flat plate, yeah.
It looks flat to the horizon, but the further you go, you realize that it's round.
No, you don't.
Do you not? Oh my God! So now
You
you're
can
proving my
walk the
point.
entire circumference of the earth and it'll never look round from your perspective.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's like a flat seal. That's what it looks like.
Is the earth formed like a flat seal?
That's what you
Or
just
does it
said. You
say
just
we
proved my
perceive
point.
it as a flat seal.
The Earth looks like a flat seal.
It says that it is formed, meaning it's made that
Oh,
way.
okay, now it's formed like a flat seal. Okay.
No, it's
Yeah,
always
that's
been
what I
that.
said from the
Okay,
beginning.
so
That's why
everything I was just
asking you
explaining that he had
originally if
nothing
you
to say,
actually
but he
care about
needed his
words and
boyfriend to come and
context.
say something. That's what I'm trying to get at. You look at the Earth, it looks flat. It's not flat. I don't understand what you're getting at.
Because men wrote this, and it's not from your God.
Obviously,
Right.
Matthew, Mark, Luke,
But
and
it's
John
saying,
wrote
but
the
it's saying,
book from Jesus'
it's not even who wrote it.
teachings.
Those weren't,
From
those
Jesus.
names weren't added for centuries.
Okay, what year did they write the Bible? Keep going. Come on. Come on,
What year did
Chief.
they write the Bible? What does that mean? That's an incoherent
What
question.
year was the New Testament written?
What do you mean written?
Sometime in the 2nd century.
How come you've got an answer, but your boyfriend doesn't?
What?
How come he doesn't have an answer, but you do?
Because your question's
No,
incoherent. He's being
Okay.
generous.
It was 44 AD when the first book was
44
written
AD?
after death. You know when the year began? What year is it now?
AD doesn't stand for after death, genius.
What year is it now? I didn't say after death. What
You
year
literally,
is it?
you literally
What
said the
year
words
is
after
wow,
death.
what year is it now?
You said
Nero?
after death.
What does
Wait,
AD stand
spastic,
for?
What year is it now?
What does AD stand for?
What year is it now? I'm asking you a simple question. What year is it? 2021?
According to
22?
whom? According to
I'm
whom?
asking you a
The
question.
year,
What
the
year?
year right now
What
is
year?
5,786.
I was going to say
Perfect.
that.
When you lodge your taxes, what year is it?
5,786.
Good luck with that, champion.
All right. Well, you asked.
What
I
does
answered.
what does AD stand for?
Hey, please lodge your taxes writing that and let me know how you go with that.
What does AD stand for?
After death.
Damn.
Here we go. Here comes the
Also,
genius.
not just playfully Semitic joke here, but I'm pretty sure my CPA will be perfectly fine with the year 5,786.
Will be? For which quarter? Which quarter we want to talk about?
They might do the math for you. Do the conversion.
Yeah, when were the Gospels written again? And what's your
Which
evidence
quarter?
of that?
Which quarter do you want to talk about in year 5026?
We want to talk about when the Gospels were written.
Yeah, well, let's keep going. I haven't stopped yet. I'm asking you what year it is right now. One person's answered. I'm waiting for another 2 answers.
The question was where?
I'm in the same year as the first guess.
So what year was that?
5,000 something, I forgot.
5786.
Oh, so now it's 57? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, can we get the first guest on to tell us what year it is?
2023 in Ethiopia.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're smarter than you. They're pretty close. They're not counting leap years after all.
Yeah, that's cool. So
Not
when were the
counting leap years,
Gospels
does it?
written?
Huh?
When were the Gospels written, and what's your evidence for that?
40 AD. That's what was written, mate.
You said
40
40.
AD
You
is
said
when the first
44 a minute
gospel was
ago.
written.
40 AD, 44. I'm not doubling my years and saying the year's 2026 and going to 5,728.
Yeah,
I'm within a range.
0 for 3
Yeah,
on
no.
that one.
What's that? I'm
0
over
for 3 on that one.
Explain to me how I'm over 3 when you can't even decide what year it is between the three of you.
Because he said
You all said
5786,
That's
and
what I said too.
you've given the wrong number 3 times.
Yeah, but your year's completely wrong. Explain to me how that's the beginning of time.
It's a Jewish calendar.
Jewish calendar. So you're Jewish?
You think time began in the year 1?
No, I'm asking you. I want to understand your perspective.
You
I'm
think
not
time began in the year 1? Look, there are points being made here that you couldn't grasp on your best day, right? And it's tough when people are talking above your head, but it's kind of fun for the people who do it, right?
Yeah,
so
keep
when
going.
people
I'm
say
listening
like,
to you
"Oh, I
right
don't know,
now."
what year is it? 5786, or yeah,
57 what?
5786, right? That is brought up to make a
I'm glad you got
point.
that under control. Keep
That
going.
is brought up to make a point that time is relative to who sets the watch. Right, you understand that
who set your watch?
you understand that BC and AD.
Okay, I'm asking you right now. Who set your watch?
Where I live? I don't know.
Who set your watch in the 5786 in the year 57?
Dionysus.
Who?
Dionysus.
And what Dionysus? What did Dionysus? Not Dionysus. Dionysus. What did he do?
He invented AD, which doesn't stand for after death.
What's that mean?
I'm not going to tell you.
Dionysus.
And what about him?
Are we talking about the same person right now, or are you talking about someone else?
Yeah, I'm talking about the guy in the 5th century.
Okay. What did he do exactly? So the 127 people that are listening right now can understand. Because that's what you're here for. You're here to educate. You're not here to prove me wrong.
He established
to prove to 127 people that you're correct. Not
he
just to
established the
We just
year.
wanted to yeah, that's what we're doing. We're trying to tell you you've been lied to
Exactly. And
about
I'm
this
asking him a
religion.
question, but
He established the year 1.
Why
Called
did he
it
establish
AD. Because he was a Christian.
Yeah.
Like, all of this is to prove that, like, you think because we live in the year 2026 that Jesus was real. Like, that's all.
You know what's funny? I speak to Muslims on this app and they tell me the year's like 1455.
Yeah, so what?
That's what I'm getting at. You've all got no idea.
What are you talking about? We just told you. We just gave you a different year and the reason why.
That's what I mean. You've guys, you can go in the same category with the Muslims because you've all got no idea.
What makes you think? What makes you think you have an idea? You're literally just subject to somebody's whim.
You've got no idea about anything.
You're subject to somebody's whim, and the fact of the matter is, according to the Gospels,
what matter? Which one?
fact of the matter that we're discussing is that according to the Gospels, Jesus could not have been born in the year 0 or 1. It was either 4 BC. It was either 4 BC or 6 AD. No time in between.
Yeah, but we just wanted to pick a date. You know why?
Yeah, because it doesn't matter.
Because we can.
It's arbitrary. Because it's
So you gotta
arbitrary.
pick one. It can't
We're
be born
better
in
than
those.
you, dude. Don't
Because
be
it's
upset about that.
arbitrary.
At the end of the day, we're better than you. Just believe that.
You're
There's
quite
the,
dumb.
that's the real sign right there, buddy. That's what they really joined this
Don't
for.
be
Is
upset.
to think their sad little lives are better than everybody else's.
Yeah,
But guess what? We got the context.
You're quite dumb.
Context of what?
How are you better than anybody with intellect?
Yeah, but we're better. That's all.
I mean, you say that. You think you're on the team.
And Rob,
Team of what?
are you better? Do you know more
You
facts?
think you're on the winning team.
How do you feel
You have more
about
Bible
being in a
knowledge?
group chat with it's 3v1 and you still can't even prove your point?
How do you feel about your
We can't
cell
prove the
phone going to short circuit soon?
You know
How do
what's
you feel
funny?
about the fact that I'm not going to take your mom on a date again?
Oh, keep going. Keep talking, American. Keep talking. Sort out your own issues before you talk to me. Do you know what's funny? I just came out of a chat prior to this, and they were talking about systemic racism in America. And fuck me, you guys have got issues, dude.
Yeah, there's no racism in Australia.
You know what the funny thing is?
Yeah,
We're
based on what
way-
we're
we're
hearing in this
fine,
conversation, y'all are the ones who think you're better than everybody else.
Who? Australian?
The people who
You
live in a
said
prison
that.
colony.
Oh, I'm not talking about Australia, dude. Because I'm only second generation Australian. There's a difference. But at the end of the day, like, fuck me.
We're only second generation Americans.
You
so-
guys have got massive issues there. Fucking hell. You guys never sort your shit out.
Okay. So, do you have an issue with the text here?
How the hell is my phone saying back to it? So
Farkia, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here, bro. I can't even read it
Oh,
because
okay.
I've got all those people in front of me.
No.
I
Well,
don't know
what do you
how to
think
change
about what we were originally talking about? How is it possible that Jesus fulfilled the prophecy about being born from a virgin when there's no prophecy about a?
I thought we
virgin
went
birth?
there, but like now I'm just done.
Well,
After
we
speaking to
switched
you and
off.
your
You never
friends, I've got the
actually
biggest headache. But you know what? I actually like you guys. I find you guys funny.
Oh, thanks. So, what do you think about this prophecy here?
The prophecy.
Yeah, from Isaiah 7.
I can't even read what you're trying to get me to read, dude.
Here, I'll read it for you again. It says, "Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Look, the young woman is with child and shall bear a son and shall name him Emmanuel." That's the part Matthew's quoting about a virgin birth, but it don't say virgin. So why is the New Testament lying about it?
Who says it's lying? Where does it say that she slept with a man?
Matthew said it doesn't. I'm saying
Okay, so
there's no
she didn't
prophecy
sleep with a
about a
man?
virgin birth in here.
So she didn't sleep with a
No,
man.
I'm not talking about Mary. I'm talking
But
about
then it
Isaiah
doesn't say
chapter
that she
7.
was a virgin. So what was she?
How is it a prophecy being fulfilled about a virgin birth if there is no prophecy about a virgin birth?
I've explained myself to you multiple times from the moment I joined when there was no
I
one
don't think he
here.
understands the question. I don't think he's ever understood the question.
I just
Obviously.
answered the question. Now you tell me
No, you didn't.
where it says that she slept with a man.
That's never been in question.
So okay, so she never slept with a man. So what does that mean?
We are not
We are
talking
talking
Mary
about
in the
Isaiah
New
7,
Testament.
not
We're talking
Mary.
about the prophecy.
No, so that is
Isaiah 7 wasn't about Mary.
What was it about?
It was about King
It's about an
Ahaz.
Assyrian war. Yeah.
King Ahaz.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yes.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
something I've never known.
Yeah. I mean, that's painfully obvious.
I know. So explain to me King Ahaz, please, so I can understand.
Here, I'll read it for you. It says, "Again, the Lord spoke to Ahaz, saying, Ask a sign of the Lord your God, and let it be as deep as Sheol or as high as heaven. But Ahaz said, I will not ask, and I will not put the Lord to the test. And then Isaiah said, Hear then, O house of David, is it too little for you to weary mortals, that you weary my God also? Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Look, the young woman is with child, and shall bear a son, and shall name him Emmanuel." This is a sign to King Ahaz. This has absolutely nothing to do with the virgin. It has nothing to do with the Messiah. It has nothing to do with the coming Messiah born from a virgin. This is a prophecy to King Ahaz about the Assyrian invasion into Judah 750 years or so before Jesus.
Yeah, read a little bit more.
It says, you shall call him Emmanuel. He shall eat curds and honey, and by the time he knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good, for before the child knows how to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land before whose two kings you are in dread will be deserted. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It says, the Lord will bring on you and your people, on your ancestral house. Such days have not come since the day that Ephraim departed from Judah, the king of Assyria.
All right, we'll go to Matthew 1, 18 to 25.
Okay.
Is 25 the one that says they named the child Jesus?
Read that out to the audience.
It says, but had no marital relations with her until she had given birth to a son and named him Jesus.
That's the sound of him trying to fight out of a paper bag.
So
Is that it? I'm still here. I
So I'm
was trying to
curious
roll my
because the
cigarette.
child, the
Hey,
prophecy
I'll do it
says-
again for you, just so you can hear. I was honestly trying to find my filter in my cigarette. That's all.
So
I wasn't trying to be
prophecy-
rude or anything.
The
I'm
prophecy
actually enjoying
says-
this conversation.
So the prophecy says the child will be named Emmanuel, and then or Emmanuel, and then when in Matthew, when it says the child will be named Emmanuel, and then 2 verses later it says they named the child Jesus. You're saying that's fulfillment of the prophecy?
No, I'm just telling. All I did was tell you to read something. I didn't say anything.
Yeah, but we've read it all.
Yeah. So what do you think about it? How do you feel?
It's not a prophecy that has been fulfilled. It was fulfilled in Isaiah. It wasn't what good. Think about the situation, right? You've got this king who was worried about rival kings coming into his land. What good would it be for the prophet to tell him, hey, 750 years from now, a virgin is going to have a baby? How would that help that king?
The thing, no, it wouldn't. If that's what you want to answer, no, it wouldn't.
Right. It would make no sense to be a prophecy about a future Messiah coming 700 years plus in the future, when what he told him was, hey, this woman here, this young woman here is pregnant, and that child she's carrying, by the time he's old enough to know right from wrong, he's going to be living in a like a nice environment, right? You're going to have like figs and honey or whatever he said, right? There's going to be peace because these 2 kings you're worried about, they'll be out of your hair, right? That's what the prophecy was, and that was the fulfillment that was done, right? So this has nothing to do with somebody almost a millennia later.
So you want to disregard certain comments but believe other comments? Is that what you're trying to say? Or
what am I believing?
Well, what I just told you to read out 2 seconds ago, you're disregarding what I had said, but everything you had said is correct.
We've been talking about that, where this is Matthew claiming that it was fulfilled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Matthew gets it wrong. And then it doesn't make sense because it says the child be named Emmanuel, and then it literally says they named the child Jesus.
Not in Matthew's, though.
What's that?
Not in Matthew's. It doesn't say.
It doesn't say what?
Yes, it does.
Emmanuel?
It does. Yeah, that is in Matthew. What are you talking about?
That was in Isaiah.
No. It says it in Matthew as a reference to Isaiah. It says, I think it's verse 23 says, you'll name the child Emmanuel. And then verse 25 says that they named him Jesus.
That's not the same name, man.
Is that correct, Toast? Or
in verse 21, it says you are to name him Jesus. And then in verse 22, it says this is to fulfill what the prophet said. Verse 23 says, and they shall name him Emmanuel. So Matthew straight up just destroys his own claim that this is coming from the prophet.
And then verse 25?
Verse 25, it says that they name him Jesus. It explicitly says, and he named him Jesus. Joseph named him Jesus. I don't know if you're aware or not. Emmanuel and Jesus, this is kind of hard for some people to comprehend, are not the same word.
Yeah, they're completely different names, I'm afraid.
No, they are. 100%.
Right. So it's almost like Matthew's lying about this.
Yeah, I think Zach was being really generous earlier when he said it wasn't intentional. Matthew does this shit, man. Matthew cherry picks like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Sometimes he just makes prophecies completely up, like in Matthew 2, where he says that Jesus will be from Nazareth to fulfill a prophecy that says he will be called a Nazarene. Nazareth and Nazarene aren't even found in the Old Testament.
Yeah, it's completely fabricating prophecies.
So Nazareth never existed.
No, there's no prophecy.
It could have
that
been
says
like
it.
some sort of little settlement, but Nazareth itself is not mentioned nowhere in the ancient world back then. Not at that time.
When Matthew says it's to fulfill a prophecy, and that prophecy is not found in the Old Testament, it sounds like he made that prophecy up.
Which makes it even funnier when the Gospel of John has people saying, "What good can come from Nazareth?" I don't know. Have you checked the so-called prophecy? Apparently, the savior of mankind.
Yeah, great point.
But when was that written?
Like the Messiah, man.
When was that written, though? Old Testament or
John?
Explain to the audience. You're not explaining it to me. You got 146 people now. You don't explain it to me.
All right, what are you asking when you say it?
I said, when was that written?
What is
When?
that?
What he
John
just
written?
explained, hold on, what's his name? Christ before.
Christ
What
before
you just
Jesus.
said.
I go by Christ.
All right, Christ. What you just said, when was that written?
Matthew or John?
Christos. When was it written? What you just said? John.
Which one? Oh, John? About 160, 165.
Yeah, but like your calendar or mine?
The Julian
Common
calendar.
era.
Yours.
Yeah, the true one. Okay. I just wanted to get that.
Yeah.
Take your
Again,
calendar,
that-
Dub.
Real
That's
one.
the Julian calendar. About 160 to 165, Julian calendar.
The true calendar. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolute.
Do you believe the Julian calendar is the
Pagan.
true calendar?
The pagan calendar.
You're not on a
Yeah,
Gregorian?
the pagan one. Yeah.
You're not on a Gregorian calendar?
You still use the Julian calendar?
Yeah.
Yikes.
What is that based off of?
Better check your taxes.
It's a pagan calendar, man.
What is that? Explain it to me. Why is that so funny? I need to know what.
It's funny because the IRS is going to arrest you now.
Is it? It's funny because like we don't have the IRS in my country.
Nah, they'll find you.
Yeah, they'll find me. Yeah, they're gonna find you living in the year. What was it? 5,728 or 82? One of the two.
Yeah, listening
They'll
card.
find you. We have a dictator now. We can do whatever we want.
Down
for four.
there. Mm.
So when do you think John was written, Parkia?
I got no idea, to be honest.
Who do you think wrote it?
Possibly John.
Possibly John.
Yeah.
Or Kevin. Possibly Kevin.
Could have been Jeffrey. Never know.
Yeah. So you seem to be mistaken about a whole lot of stuff regarding your religion.
I'm extremely mistaken because you guys are so correct.
Well, we showed you. I mean, like, you can't fulfill a prophecy. About
Well, I'll be
that if
honest,
the
as
prophecy's
a
not there,
host,
can you?
like, you've actually proved nothing wrong. Your co-hosts have done much more work than you tonight. Just putting it.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for proving him wrong. I appreciate that, Joe.
But they haven't proved me wrong.
I didn't
I
continue.
just said they've done more work. That's what I
Well, they
said.
carry
If you want to
you.
listen correctly, just like your
Oh, my bad.
all your quotes, you know, you don't even understand.
Yeah, I didn't listen good. Sorry. All right. Well, you got anything else you want to add, Mr. Farkia?
Say it again.
Well, you got anything else you want to add? We got
Nah,
several
say
more
my-
people
say
that
my
want to
name.
come up. I think. What?
Say my name.
Farkia?
Like, is this supposed to be like a... Is it just like a fuck you joke? Is that the point of the name?
Fuck yeah.
Right. Absolutely crushed with that one.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Well, you got anything else you want to add?
Nah. I just wish God finds you again, and I wish you all the
God.
best.
The
And
Islam God or the
I hope
Christian
Jesus
one?
finds you this weekend with Easter coming up. And yeah, may God save your soul.
Yeah, thanks very much for coming up, fuckwad.
Easter with
No worries, gay cunt.
Easter with the pagan.
I'll say hi to your
No
mom.
worries,
for
you little
like-
gay boy. No worries, gay
What I
boy.
love about Easter is all the pagan symbolism.
Oh my goodness! What a What a good conversation that was for over an hour. All right, let's see if we can expose a few more lies here.
Thanks for bringing me up, but I got to jump.
No problem, buddy. Thanks for coming. You're hilarious. You're the GOAT. You're the man. That is Christ, y'all. The true Christ has came. Oh, he's the fucking man. All right, let's see. I'm going to try to remember the order best I can here, although I don't know. Hey, you there, new guest?
Hold on. Hey, man.
Hey, what's up, bud? Are you over 18?
Yes.
Cool. Are you one of the Christians?
Yeah, I am.
Well, cool, man. Well, we hate to tell you this, but we're afraid you've been lied to about your religion. It's built on some lies, unfortunately.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So tell me what the lies are.
The lies, the New Testament lied about Jesus fulfilling prophecies. It lied about God being all loving. God is actually evil. I don't know if you know this, but God allows like slavery and stuff like that. Personally, we don't like that.
So about Jesus, do you think Jesus is real? Do you think he came to this earth? Do you think somebody was called Christ?
Maybe. I don't know. There's no good evidence for that.
Evidence of all the written things. Come on, man. I mean, about somebody not being called Christ, it's not possible not to get the evidence of that, you know?
Well, I don't
Anyway,
think
do you mean by
Jesus was
all
a
the
Christ
written?
because Christ means anointed. So Jesus was never even he never even earned the name Christ. He was never anointed.
oh, I'm sorry, but do you think God is real? Do you think there is God?
No, we're atheists.
Oh, you atheist. All right. So, but the factor of somebody being called Jesus, do you think that person was?
Maybe. I don't know. There's no good evidence for
I'm
that,
not
but I don't think it's
convinced.
far fetched to say that was yeah.
Anyway, all right. So now let's talk about God concerning slavery. So now, in the sense of slavery, do you think that God said it is okay?
Absolutely.
No, I know God said it's okay.
Yeah. I'm not denying the fact that but do you understand that slavery has levels, slavery has purposes, slavery
I'm
has
talking about
reasons?
chattel slavery, owning people as property that you can make work for you. They can
Yeah,
never escape.
but do
Their
you
property
think?
you can pass to your children until they die.
Yeah. So now, do you think that slavery was, wicked, like was an act of wickedness?
Yeah, I think so.
Hmm.
That's why I don't like God because he allowed it.
Okay. Now, slavery in that sense, in the olden days, the days of thousands of years ago, do you think that slavery was part of life?
Yeah, because God allowed it.
Nuh-uh. Do you think that slavery was part of life? Let's say God not in the picture now.
No, I don't
Was
think it was.
slavery
I know
part
it
of
was.
life?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, slavery was part of life, correct?
Hmm.
Now, in the sense, now God come into the picture. Do you think that God now said slavery was something that was meant, and then the misunderstanding, the maltreatment and all that, were they validated by God in the
Yes.
scripture?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
God
want you to show me.
God told them how severely they could beat their slaves.
No, I don't. There were rules, there were commandments
Yeah. And
against
it said you can
beating
beat them
slaves,
as long as they don't die.
against fighting.
Yeah, you could beat your slave,
No,
and as long as he
that's
doesn't
not.
die, there's no
I
punishment. Hey, we can't both
I
talk
beg
at the same
I beg
we
you.
can't both talk at the same time, boss. God in
All right, sorry.
Exodus chapter 21 tells you that you can beat your slave as long as they don't die immediately. If they live a day or two, then there's no punishment because the slave is the owner's property.
Interestingly enough, some translations even use the word money there.
Some
Say
use
they
silver.
are your money.
Some use silver.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that feels even worse to me.
Right?
What the fuck? Anyway, yeah, that's our point, guest. God definitely allows
These
chattel slavery, owning people as property. He says you can beat them. He says you can sell your daughter as a slave.
these are laws, you know.
Given
from
by
God.
So
And God said all these laws are
it's
what's
not
doing good
God.
and right in
who
my
gave the
sight, and you're
laws?
supposed to keep them forever.
Who gave the laws?
Yes.
No, who?
Sorry, come again.
Who gave the laws?
God Himself.
Okay. We agree.
And then the understanding of what slavery is. It's a thing of, should I say, workmanship, a factor of how people would have lands and then people would be present to till the land, to take care of farm and all that. So that's one thing. And then to my understanding, I believe that slavery and servanthood were something of similarities, okay? In the terms of slavery, the one of the Israelites in Egypt is very much different from what it is in the land of Israel. Do you agree or not?
What's the difference?
All right. So, in the place of slavery in the land of Egypt, it came out of anger, it came out of oppression, it came out of, the misunderstanding of who the Israelites are and the misuse of humanity. So, you can
So
see
this
that
slavery come out of love, right?
slavery came because it was part of life, okay? It was something that was common amongst people who have the ability and the capacity to acquire slaves.
You still think it was bad, though, right?
Slavery was part of life, sir.
Was it good or
Was it
bad?
bad, though?
Look, in terms of good or bad, I think it depends on whatever it is. Because now, look,
Well,
understand
what
that.
is it? We're asking you. What do
What
you
does
think it
that
is?
Yeah, I'm
mean?
trying to explain because this kind of yes or no thing. Okay, now in this quick,
Well, it's a
I'm
yes or
sorry.
no. Is slavery good or bad?
Let me
Is there
let
a
me
good
just
kind of
try to
slavery or a bad?
in one way it is, in another way it's not.
What's the way it's not?
Yeah, what's the good kind of slavery?
So slavery, in one way it is, in another way it is
What is the
not
way it is
good.
good?
Okay, so I think that even as a parent, to some parents, having a child is bad. To others, having a child
No.
is
What
good.
is the
Okay.
way that slavery is good?
Slavery. I said it was part of life, and because
You
it was
said
part
some
of
ways
life,
it's good, some ways
Well,
it's bad. I'm asking you which
yes,
ways it's
in one
good.
way,
In
it's
which
not.
ways is it
Yes.
good?
In the good ways, I believe that because it was part of life. So slaves
so
are
was murder was part of
workers.
life too, and great. Did God allow those things?
Murder
Huh?
is
Yeah,
not good.
being a part of
It's
life
bad.
doesn't make something
It's
good.
not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you're just
Of
saying this
course,
already existed, like it
yeah.
just happened. So, like murder did too. So did grape. Why didn't God allow those things in the law if it was just stuff that happened that He couldn't stop?
He abolished them. Murder was punishable. Rape was punishable, but slavery is just a thing, okay? Whether it's good or not, it's on the people who, experience such things. Murder is bad, whether good for whatever reason. Murder is just
Do you
wrong,
think God allows
right?
bad things in the law?
Of course, there are things that were allowed, yes.
So he does give people bad laws, is what you're saying.
look, to allow something doesn't mean you like something, yeah. So, but in the terms where
Well, does
God
God allow
allows,
things that he don't like?
now let's understand, God is not like God doesn't have to be concerned with everything, you know.
Oh wow.
Because if we talk about the goods of humanity, the bads of humanity, I think that the bad
God
coming
doesn't
from
have to be
humanity
concerned with
is
enslavement of
worse.
people. God doesn't have to be concerned with enslaving people.
Yeah, it
He
turns
is.
out like
That's
this
why
country that
our
we live in
Lord,
today fought a whole war over this shit. And God had nothing to say about
humanity.
it.
Look, on the topic
I'm
of
listening.
slavery, bad things happened. Okay, I said that's why there were laws.
Yeah,
There
and
were
God
things
said you can do
guiding the
these bad
people.
things.
Not bad. I
Your
said
God said you can
slavery.
do these bad things.
Like what? What was it?
Is
And that
beating
was
your
Like
killing
owning
slave
have
bad?
slaves.
slaves.
Yeah, owning a slave in the first place is bad, but is beating your slave bad?
Oh, he take up there. Your teacup, new guest, just in case you didn't know.
Have you read the previous verses? Have you understood the context?
Yes.
Hmm? And
Yes.
then
This is
Oh,
terrible.
your teacup again. Yeah, your teacup again, man.
look, you see, the thing is this. Let's not say, you see, the context of slavery, like I'm trying to say, is that it's not something that we can quote bad. Okay?
What?
But in the
I
world
can.
today, honestly, come on. Like I'm saying, in the days of old, slavery was part. Being a servant to a home was part of life. Okay? That
Yeah,
was why God
just like in the
Yeah,
American
only
South.
if you were a slave.
Just like in the American South, it was part of life, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Was it good that that happened?
what makes it bad? What makes it bad is how humanity is being misused.
So slavery is not bad. Just
Slavery is
abuse is bad.
wrong.
What do you mean?
In those days, slavery was part of life. But because
Yeah,
things have
like
changed,
in this in the 16, 17, and 1800s in America, slavery
things
was
have
part of
changed.
life, right?
It was.
Right. So what's the difference?
The difference is now that things have changed.
What's the
Now
difference
that
between what's the difference between the antebellum South in America, right, slavery, and slavery in the Bible?
slavery in the Bible was a thing, okay? The one of
We agree it
America,
was a thing. Well, how
yes,
was it different than American chattel slavery?
they were trying to imitate the one of old, and then the misuse of man was common.
How
Therefore,
was it a misuse?
I mean, like, look at all the stories, yeah?
How was it a misuse according to the Bible?
Look, you see, slavery, oh gosh, slavery was part, if it is part of life, it's not bad.
It was part of life in the American South.
All right, then it is okay. Then the misuse of man.
It's not okay.
Wow.
That's
No, no,
look,
no,
look,
no.
understand.
Wow, you
Understand, bro.
finally got there.
If it's is part of life, then it may be okay. But the what makes it wrong is how the misuse of man can fall in place. Okay? So like that's what I'm trying to say.
So are we saying that you think slavery could be a proper use of men?
In the olden days, it was a thing.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
So it was a proper use?
It depends. I mean,
How?
What do you
come
think?
on, like read the parts in this scripture, and then it talks about women, how women should be treated, women slaves, how men slaves should be treated, and there are parts of the
Do you think?
commandments there that pointed at the fact that if a
What about children? Do
slave
you think it's okay
maybe
to take a child as a sex
gets
slave?
injured and all that,
Hey,
The owners of those
yeah.
slaves, there were things they had to do that were commanded of them to do to make sure that things go right. So slavery, being part of life, depends on the person or the set of people handling those slaves. Okay, but for the American part of this, I think that it was already corrupted. People were becoming more enlightened about life, so that is why things might change now. But in other words, there's what's being called housemaid, right? Isn't Do you know?
Yeah, we know. Do you think it's okay to have children as slaves?
Yeah, exactly.
Children count too in the slavery,
Children
right?
as
It comes with the
slaves,
territory because it happened. Yeah.
of course, but yeah, but I mean, your child should be your child. As much as I know. Yeah.
Well, how come God allows people to sell their daughters as slaves?
No, I do not think that. No.
Well, that's
So
definitely Exodus
Yeah.
21.
when it says exactly that, do you not believe it's there?
You have to show me.
It says when a man sells his daughter as a slave, right? Host is bringing
When a
it.
man sells his daughter as a slave, she shall not go out as the male slaves do.
All right. So doesn't that makes a difference?
What does that mean?
I mean, come on, like a child to somebody should not be sold as a slave
But it says that
because your
Yeah,
he
daughter.
we
says that he
agree.
says that he can do it.
That's
And
not
that
what.
Yeah, God's telling them
unlike
they
the male
can do it.
slaves, unlike the male slaves, she's never to be released.
You see, like I was trying to say, okay, slavery was part of life. It was
Yes, true.
something separate.
Just like in the antebellum South, slavery was part of life. Are they both good?
Yes. Okay. But the era of days are different, do you know? Okay?
What is the
Purpose
difference?
the purpose of slavery has changed.
No, the purpose of slavery has always been to get free labor.
But do you know what housemaid is?
Yeah, a housemaid is a paid
Of
position.
course. Yes, okay. That's what I'm trying to say. That housemaids were not mentioned then. They were not people who were just, paid and all that. So the factor of difference is in this
Housemaid is a
topic.
paid
Okay.
position.
So yes, okay. So that's what I'm trying to say. The
Are
slavery
slaves
was
paid?
meant for life. They were taken care of,
Yeah, just like an ox was. Are they paid?
but they were taken care of. They were
Yes,
fed.
oxen were given food and shelter. Were slaves paid?
Yeah, you had to take care of your sheep when they got sick too.
God did not give any laws for oxes and asses, He gave laws for slaves. So I think they're different.
He did give laws for oxen.
Oh,
Not animals, really.
yeah.
Yeah, and what's
So-
funny is in the 10th commandment, right? Slaves and oxen are mentioned together as things that your neighbor owns. They're in the
Yeah.
same category, Chief.
Yes, and then the laws for slaves are not equal to the guidelines to take care of animals or whatever it is. So,
What's the
but
difference?
like I was trying to say, to understand this, look, slavery was having a significance in the life of man then.
Now, God
People-
gives more protection to animals than he does human slaves. He says, don't have sex with animals. It's totally fine with you having sex
And then
with slaves.
and then it's in the same way it's also mentioned that we should not maltreat slaves. Have you read that? That we should not,
Does it say
just
you can't sleep with your slave? It says you shall not have sex with your slave?
Of course it does.
Where does it say that?
It don't.
Apart from scripture that pointed out that if such things happen,
Wait, you
there
said
is
of
a
course
time.
it does. Where does it say that?
I may not be able to dig through, but I believe that such things exist. But I know so sure about verses that pointed out that if at all, maybe the owner of a slave sleeps with that slave, and then maybe there's a child and all that. There were laws guiding these patterns. So there were
Yeah, we'd
laws
like to read
against
those. Where are they at?
time, but
Is the owner to be punished for sleeping with his slave?
there's the one of if maybe if the owner of the slave sleeps with maybe the female slave, I think there were two options, maybe to marry that slave and become a wife to the owner,
What are you
or
talking
don't
about? These
understand.
don't
Where's the
There's one
exist.
scriptures
law.
at? Like, no, that's completely made up.
There's one law about sleeping with a slave, and it's if a man sleeps with another man's slave, like as in defiling his property. I think that's in Deuteronomy. You got a pastor in the chat who wants to talk about this.
Really?
Yeah.
Who
Duke
did?
something.
Duke. Pastors get priorities. All right, let's see here. Who'd you say it was again? Oh, Duke. Let's see. Oh shit.
Hey, what's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Hi, Pastor.
Hey, how you
Yeah,
doing, man?
you're a pastor, you said?
Yeah, I've talked to you before. This is a
Oh,
great
cool.
topic because one, I try to tell Christians all the time, do not defend God's behavior. What happened in Scripture is clear, and it just makes it look so bad when you try to dance around what actually we're dealing with here. And so what we're dealing with here is so slavery came into existence the same way violence, oppression, all this other stuff came in through human behavior. The question is, when God establishes his own nation, why doesn't he just say slavery is bad? You don't do this. You people are going to know that you are different because you don't do these things. That's the real mystery. Why does God why does God work within the system versus just establishing his own way of doing things? And the answer to that is actually because God is also very much in tune with human behavior and where humans are in each dispensation. That's why through time, you see, by the time we get to American slavery, there was this conviction that people had, so it's really like God almost like has to wean people off of bad behavior because they're so culturally embedded. And when you look at what God does, especially
just a second. How did he wean the Hebrew males off slavery? Because he says you can't make them serve as slaves, but he says you can make slaves out of all the foreigners and everybody else.
Human currency, because so people were using human currency because of the fact that they were trying to gain power, establish a nation, establish power. So they found these justifications in their reasonings, in their own reasoning. So you have the human factor is what that caused. So by the time when God starts interacting, but especially by the time you get to Abraham, slavery was already a thing. Humans were already, they were already enslaving one another. So it had nothing to do with God. Like I said, the issue most people have is why didn't God, when he was establishing his nation, why didn't he just say, this is wrong, don't do it? And my statement.
You said he had to wean them off, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying is that what he does is basically say, okay, I know human nature. No one knows human nature better than God. So he knows human nature. And he's like, okay, they're going to understand this, but they're not going to understand this. And so he starts to do that based off where human nature in society, especially dealing with the amount of evil that they've already accepted. And so he's got to.
So my question would then be, why does he say you shall not make Hebrews serve as slaves, but he allows you to enslave everybody else?
That's
like a process of weaning them off of it.
About that. That's the conviction part. That's where it's like, wait, because you're dealing with human depravity, right? And so he's establishing this nation, and then he's saying you can't do this to each other. I get that you're going to do it here, and you're going to do it because also, if you just look at Genesis 12. This is where I tell people don't apologize. In Genesis 12, he's not mindful of other cultures. He's mindful of the people, this nation that he's establishing. So he's like, hey, like he said, I'll bless those that bless you and I'll curse those that curse you. So it's that same mentality. So it's like you can't enslave one another because I want you to see what good is. You can't enslave one another. But if you're going to use these other slaves from these other cultures, this is how you're going to do it. But at the same time, it would cause a human, like, matter of fact, the same reason in American slavery, why they stopped doing it is because they saw themselves. They started to see themselves. They started to see, hey, this isn't right. We got that revelation. This isn't right. This isn't okay. Especially when it was illegal to enslave Christians. And so they had to go out of their way to see blacks as not human so they could enslave them, or Christian. They were like not allowing them to read the Bible. Well, it took somebody to say this isn't right. And that's exactly why.
So what was, okay, perfect. So what was biblically inaccurate about slavery in the antebellum South?
What was biblically accurate in
inaccurate?
Like, how would you use the Bible to defend slavery in the antebellum South? And you say the Bible says you can't do this. How do you get there?
Well, so when you look at so what they were doing, it's so interesting because it's actually parallel. It was like, oh, the justification became about building a nation. So that was the justification that they used, the same way the justification that the Hebrews used, the same way that God didn't like condemn it, but he did, like, God, one of the things about God's process is
he condemned it sometimes, though, didn't he?
When it came to his people. Like,
wouldn't it have been nice of God if he would have said, hey, maybe do that for everybody, no slaves?
Like, remember,
wouldn't that have been cool?
Remember, he ushered his people into slavery for 400 years with Egypt.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm feeling like God is perfectly okay with slavery.
Does God create everyone?
Does God create everyone?
Yeah.
According to John 1, he will allow people to exist, but he allows people to exist. But according to John, the Gospel of John 1, people do get here different ways. There's people born by the will of man. There's people born by the will of God, people born by the will of blood. You got clones, you got whatever. People get here different ways.
So
there's a human clone?
No, I'm just saying that people, yeah, well, there is one, but there's only one.
Do you believe that all of humanity came from Adam and Eve, or no?
I do believe that the original man did, the original human species came from Adam and Eve. Then, of course, you have the interference of the Nephilim, the fallen spirits. God floods the earth. He starts back over with Noah. We don't know for sure if Noah was a descendant of that Nephilim type blood. Either way, we do know that the human species had been tampered with, and it's possible that we're all descendants of that. I mean, but by the time
God created the B'nai Elohim, right? He created the sons of God who made Nephilim.
Yeah, and
he created humans, right?
Right, and
all of this is his creation.
Yeah,
right. We're all made in the image of God.
Yeah,
absolutely,
exactly. So why does he allow part of his creation to subject another part of his creation to inhumane treatment?
Yeah. So remember, by the time we get to Jesus, right? Who's in slavery at that point? The Jews, his own people, right? So there is this constant concept of, like, if you even look at when he's giving out his statutes in Leviticus, and he's saying things like, hey, if you do this, if you listen to me, I'll protect you from these evils. But his own people would constantly interact with pagan culture that would influence. You're talking about human behavior now, influence, inspire. So they're not listening to God all the time. They're doing what most Christians do today and listen when they feel like it, and then when they need God, they complain and cry out to God and ask him to save them. But really, most of the calamity that you see that happens to the Jewish people is when they try to mimic other cultures and they embrace other cultures. And instead of listening to God, they throw him under the bus and act like everybody else.
Who were the Jews slaves to in the time of Jesus?
The Romans.
How were they slaves to the Romans?
The Romans were oppressing the Jewish people for over 400 years at that time.
Is that slavery?
So just like American slavery, after a while, you get used to the abuse.
So is rule slavery?
The first phase, it's almost impossible to take over a nation without abuse and slavery at first, and then once people get acclimated to it because they've been raised in it, it normalizes and it
Slavery
becomes.
has a meaning, though.
So there were still slaves. There were still
It's
slaves
also
at
a
the time
legal
of Jesus.
status in the Roman Empire. It was a legal status.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is that so there was oppression happening, and then there was still slavery happening. But both were still
Yeah,
happening.
but the
Well, you
Jews
said
could
the
have
Jews
slaves
were in
themselves. The
slavery.
slaves legally own people as slaves, and they could defend us with God. They say their God allowed us to do it.
Oh, the Romans didn't believe in God at that time. They didn't
No,
believe
the
in the Jewish
Jews. I'm
God.
talking about the Israelites.
Can I? Sorry, because I feel like there was
No,
a
you're
really
good.
important question. We've deviated from it, and I think it'll bring us back. Duke, can you just to go back to his question? Abe asked you, how would you in the antebellum South utilize the biblical text to speak to like a pastor from, Virginia somewhere, saying, "Hey, you guys are supporting the social institution of slavery. You should be an abolitionist if you're adhering to the biblical text." What would you say to them? The Bible says X, therefore God is against the social institution of slavery.
So the issue is that, well, first of all, great question. And I would have been one of those pastors that actually existed that did hide slaves. Matter of fact, the church that I just,
Duke.
I'm not deviating.
No, I think that's probably an amazing story, seriously. But I feel like we all are like little squirrels, and we kind of like, oh, that's really cool. But I think this is such an important question.
Looking for
just
textual
focus on it.
references.
It really is. So I would genuinely go to the scriptures where Jesus said, "I come to liberate the oppressed." And I would look at it. I think the struggle when you ask somebody to think in a different time, I go, okay, well, the Bible that Jesus does say he comes to liberate this and that. Then the issue becomes to how did they identify human beings? Because remember, there was a time where they didn't see blacks as fully human. So they're going, so if there was a struggle, that it would be the identifying them as humans.
Kind of sounds like Jesus and Gentiles.
Yeah. But in Ephesians 2, he turns around and says that there'll be no Jew, no Gentile. And
He
that
says
they'll
that?
become one. And not he did, but Peter talks about, and Paul says that there'll be no Jew, no Gentile, and that there'll be one new man. So this concept, because like most people don't realize that Abraham was a Gentile. Abraham.
Let me, Duke. Sorry. Let me ask this way, real quick. Say I'm Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederacy, and I say it is a God-given right for us to own slaves because God Himself says in Leviticus 25 we can own foreigners as property. It says we may acquire them from the nations around us, and they can be our property, our money. Right. So you, as a pastor, what do you then say to that specific statement?
I would have to bring up that Jesus came to liberate the oppressed, to free people. That's what I would have to bring up. And I think that's what those pastors stood on, is that Jesus came to free people and bring us together as one, not work within those man constructs, those human constructs. So I think that's...
No, sorry. And I think that's sorry, if I could just if we could, maybe I could bounce something back. So if the person then said to you, right, but that doesn't mean that Jesus was against the social institution of slavery, right? Look here in in Luke 17, right? Jesus is speaking to his disciples, and he utilizes an analogy of a slave master and his slave who's been working out in the field all day. And when he says to them, which one of you probably know this, but just for everybody that might not know it, like which one of you having a slave working in the field all day, when he comes in at the end of the day, would say to him, here, sit with me and eat? No, of course you wouldn't say that, he says to his disciples. You would say, go into the kitchen and put on your serving apron and make my food, make my dinner, and then come out here and wait on me while I eat. And then only after I have eaten may you eat. And then after all of that, Jesus says to his disciples, would you thank the slave? No, of course you wouldn't. And in the same way, you, are essentially worthless slaves, right? So it seems like Jesus doesn't have an issue with the social institution of slavery. It's really
No,
hard to make a case that he
yeah, no.
does.
So
So what would
watch
you
this.
say?
I would say this, that Jesus was dealing with like he deals with the heart of man. So if you look at even scripture that could even be taken as worse than that, I thought you were going to go somewhere else. You would even say something that's worse than that. In 1 Timothy chapter 6, he's like, if any of you, Paul's like, if any of you have found yourself into slavery, love your slave master as a brother. Right. So he's really trying to push a different issue to create a different revelation to do away with it. He's saying if you focus on the power of loving one another, serving one another, then everybody's now this equal. Everybody becomes this. It's like this. He's trying to institute the versus battling the constructs that people attach themselves to, like slavery or culture or whatever's accepted in culture. He's trying to give them the real heart of the issue, which is using love to equalize everything and clear things up. And that's a process that we are kind of.
Why do you think he cleared it up by ending with a sentence that says, "We are worthless slaves. We have done what we ought to have done."
Right, because he's basically saying, to even when you think about it from our perspective, if you look at all the apostles that identify themselves as slaves to God, like, so he's using that analogy, saying this is how they would see themselves. But he turns around and says the greatest among you is the servant. If you look at even what happened with black slavery, right? Because I'm black, so I talk about this stuff all the time. So in black slavery, what a lot of people don't know is that
You're black and you call black people blacks?
yeah, because there's I guess just people from different
Actually,
places.
no, several that do.
Yeah,
I don't
different
mean
people
nothing
from
by
different.
that.
No, really, yeah. Some people say different words, but the reality is that even in during the black slavery, right? I don't consider it, it's not like yay, right? However, I go, look at this. Look at the fact that the Europeans get involved in slavery. They purchase only black slaves for the specific reason, even though other cultures were in slaves as well. They only purchased black slaves, changing the business model where that was the big business. You wanted to be a part of that business. Well, it ended up causing, like, technically all these other cultures to not be put in slavery, because now being blacks was the big thing. And then ultimately America gets the revelation that slavery is wrong, and then slavery is ended for the most part. It still
Well, it's
goes on
not a
today, but
revelation they got from God, though. That's our point here.
Yeah, Duke, I'm so sorry. So, like, kind of staying with this, then, like, if I were to then push back on you and say, yeah, I mean, I think the point of the New Testament writers was to de-emphasize one's social standing, because the emphasis was on who you were in Christ, right? Galatians 3. And by doing so, it meant that there wouldn't be a need to get rid of this social institution. People would just be like, well, this doesn't matter anymore, right?
well,
Sorry, that was just sort of a lead up.
I got
But
you.
the pushback would be, and this is what you see, like if you read Thomas Cobb's work when he does his treatise on the law in like the 1850s, the argument that is being made from Southern, pastors and, legal specialists, whatever, what they're saying when they utilize the biblical text, they're saying, look, God in the Old Testament can't give immoral laws, right? It would be immoral of him to say this
God's
is
not
something.
moral.
Sorry?
God's not moral.
Yeah, we agree there.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know what that
God's
means.
not moral at all.
What does
He's
that
sovereign.
mean?
He's sovereign, but God is not moral.
God doesn't have views on what's right or wrong?
God can, okay, so he can do whatever he wants. He determines what's right and wrong. He creates
Duke,
the
I
right.
don't think that's a view of the biblical writers.
Well, the fact that he says that I, God, do both good and evil. I mean,
Well,
he's
yeah, I mean, I don't know
They
that.
said, "I create."
I
I
mean, there.
create both. As a matter
Yeah,
of
I
fact,
mean,
if you
there.
look at Genesis 3, where it says man has become like one of us, knowing both good and evil. So good and evil was a domain that he already was operating in.
I mean, I think the knowledge of Tov and Ra is something different, but like I think that passages like Genesis 18, it's something we always talk about, sort of speak very firmly against this idea in the mind of the biblical writers that Yahweh is above reproach, right? I mean, I think it's fundamental that Yahweh is held to an ethical standard by their lights, right? When Abraham says to him, you certainly won't do this because you're a just judge, right?
Yeah. So watch this. So he's saying that based off the fact that him and God have this covenant, right? That he just made, and he's talking about saving Lot, but everyone else can get killed in Sodom and Gomorrah, and but his son, but Lot, his cousin, his nephew, he's like, surely because you're just, and actually technically he said, I'll pardon the city if I can find one just man. So the fact that
He said 10.
well, he said 10, but he worked his way down to 10.
They got
He
down to
stopped at
10.
10.
Yeah, but I thought he went down. I thought he got. I thought he even said if
It
there's
went
just
from 50
one.
to 10. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's the
Yeah,
same
but still,
basic thing.
the point is that
50 to 5.
huh?
But that's an interesting passage, right? Because do you think God's all knowing?
Oh yeah, yeah,
So did God know that he wouldn't find 10 people?
yeah.
So he
Be-
was
be-
lying to Abraham?
no. He allows Abraham to believe what he wants because he's trying to revelation.
So he was misleading Abraham?
Not misleading Abraham.
Was he giving Abraham false hope?
No, not at all. That's why he gave. That's
So
why he gave.
he knew that he was going to destroy the city.
He knew he was going to destroy the city,
and he
knew that
let Abraham believe that there was a chance it wouldn't be destroyed, right?
He knew that Abraham didn't understand, and
Did he let
moved on.
Abraham know that there was? Did he let Abraham believe there was a chance it wouldn't be destroyed?
Yeah. So if you look at
Okay, so he misled Abraham.
No, he didn't. No, if you look, he actually addresses it. He says, should I tell Abraham, my friend, the thing that I'm about to do? He had already made his decision that he was going to do it.
Should I let him know, or
knew
should I
that.
keep him in the dark and lie to him?
Right. But here's the thing. Then
Duke, why? I'm confused. Why do you? But Duke, why do you think that from the text? Like, why do you assign this omniscience to the deity from the text? I mean, listen to what it says. And the Lord said, "The outcry of Sodom and Gomorrah is indeed great, and their sin is exceedingly grave. I will go down now and see if they have done entirely according to its outcry, which has come to me.
Yes.
And if not, I will know."
Yes.
Duke, I just presented a paper on this particular topic of God's omniscience in Genesis.
Do you want to know why God is all knowing? Not because he just has it in him, because he's willing to do what most humans aren't willing to do. He's willing to do what it takes to find out, to create. So that's why when he says he looks at things and saw that it was good, if he wouldn't have to see it if it was good. He just create and be like, it's good because I created it.
That's not what all knowing means.
But all knowing.
I don't think that's
were the
dealing.
laws
Look,
good because God created them?
Duke, the use of this verb in the Hebrew, right? Yada. When God says, "I will know,"
right? That's what I'm saying. Is that there's all knowing as in the end. Like, okay, how is God knowing? That would be the question, right? Well, he's showing you now how he's all knowing because he's willing to be intimate with. He's intimate.
No, but that's not what the verb.
There's still
means.
process.
What does all mean?
All knowing. So you're saying
we have to break this down. What does all mean?
This way. So because you're saying that all knowing.
What does all mean?
That God just knows everything without himself examining.
Yeah, 1 John 3:20 says God knows everything.
Yeah. So when I see knowing, when I see all knowing, I'm saying God knows everything because he's one, the creator of everything, but he's also willing to examine everything that keeps him ahead of everybody else. So not only,
but Duke, this just isn't how this verb is used, right? The way that, just so it's clear, and I understand it, like you're coming to the text of the Hebrew Bible with an understanding of what it means for a being to be a deity, right? You have certain attributes that you assign to the deity. And so this is one of the things that you assign to him. And so when you look at passages like this, or Genesis 22, or Genesis 3, right, where God is saying things like in Genesis 22, I don't unalive your son, because now I know that
Right.
you fear God. You look at that and you say, this is like condescension. This is condescending language. It's not that God didn't know that. It's the way that he's relating to us, right, as humans. But that's not what the text says. Right? The
Yeah.
text is explicit. God tested Abraham, utilizing that verb nasa in the PL, which means to do something in order to find out X about that individual. So,
Right.
like the passage itself, and all throughout this first half of Genesis, the deity is depicted most of the time as like a superhuman. He's not omniscient by any
Still
stretch.
human, yeah.
Keeps calling
Yeah.
him. So, but the thing is, I guess to me, it's not about a lack of knowledge. It's about God saying, okay, I'm going to reveal this now. I'm bringing man this revelation, because when you're dealing with a God that does know everything, but you're dealing with humans that are separate from him, that he's created in his image, but they don't know anything, but think they know everything. He now has to create a communication. And when I look at what he's doing with Abraham versus the rest of the human species, he's doing it with Abraham, saying, hey, I'm going to develop this relationship. Like the word know also means intimacy, right? So we know that
In a
God's
very, very
process.
specific context. It's
Right.
euphemistically used that way. Yes.
Yeah, right. But what I'm talking about is that God's way is still to bring. He brings humans revelation. He brings intimacy. He brings justice. So the way he's going to operate in things, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's necessarily a lack of knowledge as much
I
as
just
it is.
don't, Duke, I don't know how that fits into either of these contexts, right? If God is saying, first of all, I'm going to go down, right? That's a very ancient Near Eastern motif. The
Right.
deity has to move from point A to point B in order to get to point B, right? And when he does, there's this outcry that has come to him, right? And he's going to then go down and investigate to find out if those things are true. And he says specifically, and if not, I will know. What does that have to do with him relating to Abraham?
Oh, everything. Because remember, he's also promised Abraham this covenant that he's going to build this nation. He's going to do all this other stuff. And he also promised Abraham that his character was going to be a certain way. And so when he's talking about this thing, he's saying, hey, that's why Abraham responds, you surely are a just God. You are this kind of God. You're not, surely you wouldn't do this, this, and this. And I want to keep this in context too. Remember that Abraham is getting to know God, right? So the way God behaves towards Abraham is very important as they develop this relationship to build this nation. Now, if you look, when we're introduced to Abraham, the Tower of Babel was just built, maybe a few years before. So the whole human species at the time is in complete chaos. They don't understand each other's languages.
Duke, I have no idea where you're going, right?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is,
I haven't heard you address the question yet.
what I'm talking about is total confusion is on the land. And then by the time Sodom and Gomorrah gets here, when God says, I will now know this and that, it's because God's timing is to bring man revelation during certain times. So it's not just like when he says, wait a second. I get it. I just got it. You said the text is clearly saying, I don't know this. I'm going to go find out. Now I know this.
That's right.
I like that, because that's actually what I'm trying to say, is that what makes God all knowing is that I think what makes God all knowing is what he's willing to do to know all. If you're not willing to learn math, you don't know math, right?
Does something all-knowing need to go learn something, or do they already know everything?
All-knowing can't learn.
See, that's the part that I can't roll with. I can't roll with that.
Yeah, because omniscience is a stupid concept.
Well, not
Duke,
when
Duke,
you
do
have
you? Sorry, Duke. Just to try to use your analogy, like, do you know Hebrew?
a little bit, but not
Okay,
much. I,
but I
I
mean,
study
like,
from a Hebrew perspective, but yeah,
right. But I mean, to get that, like, there was a point that you didn't know it, and then you studied, and then you knew what like what you'd learned, right?
right.
I mean, certainly that wouldn't depict your understanding of God. There wasn't a time that God didn't know X, and then He did something to like work it out, and then
I
He
don't
knew
see. I
it.
don't get that because I was made in His image, so I don't think God has a problem learning.
Oh, okay. Well, then He's not omniscient. I mean, at least by maybe a
Right.
standard definition of
Right.
omniscience.
So that's what I'm saying is that we're
Oh,
invited to a higher conversation because we're human beings. I think that, he's like saying, I think he's inviting us to say, this is how I process, this is how I create things. Like with science, when it talks about the molecules and the way the body's designed, you have to spend intimate time to study these things. Well, he had to spend intimate time to see what he wanted, to see how he wanted to construct man, how he wanted to make the atoms and molecules. He had to make this intimate time to so he had to like what he did with man. He said everything was
Wait
good.
a minute. Wait a minute. You're saying an all-knowing God had to like think for a while about how to make atoms and cells,
Probably. I mean,
like plan it out.
I mean, this is what you have to do when you have to reconcile two concepts that are
not
at
really,
odds
not really. I'm just saying
theologically.
if he's
They are, though.
if he's deciding what he wants, he has a right to look at what he wants and say, that's not good. I don't like this. I need to fix that. I can change this
Why
because
would it
he's
not
doing
be
it.
good though? Why would an all-knowing creator make something good and then have to decide if it was good or not? That makes no sense.
Because whether he liked it or not, it's about his will. That's the part. It's like if this is the part of his sovereignty, if it was fitting for him,
What?
yeah, if it was fitting for him. So if like this, he made man, right? And then said it's not good for man to be alone. So he declared that he was intimately engaged in the existence of humanity. So he constructed the world, the universe, the way he saw fit.
Well, earlier you said when God makes something, he says it's good. So it's good that he made it, right?
I didn't just say he makes something and says it's good. I was using that as an analogy to say that when he makes something, he examines it. So that like when he made this, he goes, okay, it is good. So he creates what he creates and then he examines what he creates to make sure that he likes it. If he doesn't like it, he's either going to fix it or do away with it.
So he didn't know he was going to make something bad beforehand.
Like, I don't just, what does all mean?
I feel like, sorry, and we could definitely keep doing that. I feel I'm trying to bring it back to slavery for a second because I feel like we've gone on this crazy tangent to get it. I still am no closer to understanding. So, like, I think we got here because you made the statement that whatever God commands is good, right? Like a form of divine command theory. It sounds
All right,
like
watch
what you're
this.
saying.
Do you agree with the prison system?
Oh, God.
Okay, Duke, focus with me for just a second.
I am. The reason why I'm saying that is because the prison system is a form of slavery.
No,
it's not.
but okay, Duke.
It's not.
Because there's innocent people there too.
It's
Duke,
not.
Duke, define slavery for us.
Slavery.
How are you using this term?
Definitely chattel slavery. But that also happens in prison as well. You know what I mean? The working on the railroads, all that stuff, the stuff that they still have people
define chattel slavery for me.
Taking people from one place to another, actually industrialized industry, kind of what happens in sex trafficking, abuse. I know some people want to say servitude or indentured servitude. I'm talking about the slavery where you're taking someone else's rights.
Okay, Duke, let me do this because most scholars, when they talk about this topic, when they talk about chattel slavery, the word chattel there meaning like property.
Right.
So that people are being taken as movable property.
Right.
Okay, that's what we mean by it.
And I agree with that.
Okay. So if that's the case, I'm just trying to establish some clear points here that we can work with. Like, do you agree that when Leviticus 25, 44 to 46 says, you may take, slaves, male and female slaves, from the nations around you, you may pass them on as inheritance to your children, you may make them serve forever, that these are individuals that are chattel slaves?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. So the point that the Southern pastor or the Southern, lawmaker is going to argue, what they did argue, is that if God said they could do that, it was moral. It could not be an evil thing if God said they could do it.
Yeah,
How would you respond to that?
I would say they were wrong. I would say that it's God's sovereignty, but it doesn't mean that it's good. It's just God's sovereignty. God saying, okay, my
God says
people
it's good.
If God says it's good, you say that God says it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of his law.
It says all his laws are what's doing good and right in his sight, and you will keep them all the days that you live on this earth.
Right. So now, when you look at it, if God says it's good, then they would be right. I would stand corrected and have to go like, well, then they're right then.
So now you stand corrected, and chattel slavery is actually a good thing.
Yeah, I guess I would have to say it was a good thing. Then.
Oh, Duke.
The reason why.
Maybe I should
get
the preacher
over
here.
this fucking
Send
brain
your
poisoning.
congregation to me because I should be the pastor in here.
No, that's not what.
Actually, Dr. Josh should, but I'll steal his credit.
So what I'm saying is this. If that God knows how to usher humanity through what it needs to get through, humans are the ones causing more problems than anything. We're the ones causing the war. We're the ones causing destruction. So if God says, hey, this is how I'm going to get people out of something.
Gotta write that
If
time
God
down
says this is
for
how I'm
a
going to
clip,
get
sorry.
people, like we're talking about correcting the human heart. And if God knows, like sometimes the doctor has to break an arm to fix it. So if God is willing to tell us, hey, there's certain processes that humans have created such a mess that now to save humanity, we have to go through all of this. It's not like, put a perfect example. When you look at what God is, when Christ gets on the cross, he is taking accountability for all the stuff that, we've become. That's totally him saying, I am taking accountability. I did. It's not your fault that you exist.
Right, but dude,
It's not your fault. He's giving us a way out.
Such a weird poison thing. Do you think rape is good?
No, I don't.
Okay, but when God brings people together to execute his anger, right? And part of that is them raping people, and that's God giving his judgment. Is it still bad?
Well, see, this is the thing, is that it goes back to when God said that. This is what I mean about the sovereignty part, that y'all hit me with these yes or no things and I keep getting thrown off. But he already declared that I, God, do both good and evil. Yeah. He already declared that. So God did it. God does evil.
All right, God does evil. Okay.
So why are you worshiping this evil God? Yeah.
I said he's a sovereign God. He's a sovereign God
who does evil.
Yeah.
And he does good too. He does what he wants, but it's for his will. That's what the
he
whole
passes
thing is.
Laws that are obviously evil and immoral, but calls them good. So which is it?
No, that's what I'm saying is that. But if the end result, right? Put it this way. America right now is what it is because of the fact that humans went through these terrible things. My people went through something terrible, right? And this is why I think it's such a great insult for black people to, be talking about all the injustice. It's like, no, be the overcomers that we are. Don't be a victim. The victim.
You're justifying
so my point is,
what was used against your own people. You understand?
Not justifying.
That, right?
Not justifying.
You
it's
are.
a human
You said
reality.
It was good.
Literally
you admitted it earlier and said it was good.
You literally said it was good.
Well, what I'm talking about is the fact that what's even better than that is when we get the revelation that we don't have to stay there. We don't have to stay oppressed. We don't have to stay in that situation. And that's exactly what Jesus was doing.
You do if it's up to God. You should thank secular folks for going against the Bible and freeing your ancestors.
But the pastors that were hiding slaves were not secular. They were actually using the word of God.
Who were they hiding them from?
No, they were going against the word of God.
And sorry, Duke, that's true, right? I tried to say this a lot. Like evangelicals were the ones in the United States that began the abolitionist movement. But the problem is that the way that they were utilizing the text. And it sounded like you're a dispensationalist, so I think this will probably resonate with you. They weren't doing it like most evangelicals would say, the 2 Timothy, 2:15, right? The studying to show thyself approved, rightly dividing the word of truth. Like they were coming to the text by what most evangelicals would say was very liberally, very progressively, right? They're like, let's not exegete the text necessarily. Let's just think kind of what you were saying earlier, right? Let's think more broadly about like, what are the broad attitudes about Jesus and the setting the people free. And like, that's what they were doing, which is not what anybody would say today in evangelicalism that I know of anyway, would say is like good hermeneutics. Now, I agree with it, right? Because it leads to people being freed from slavery. But I think that's the dichotomy here.
But I think there's a fear, though, to really have this conversation. I think there's a fear that I don't have the fear, but I wonder if, like, because of how treacherous the subject and context is, there's a fear, that you guys have talking about it. Because I'm like, okay, watch it. Like, they're to this day, like, first of all, just so you know, and I want to be totally honest and genuine, because I think you guys genuinely want truth. But my family was never in slavery. Okay, my family actually didn't even get over here from the Zulu. We were from Africa, so my family didn't even get over here until like the 1930s. So like they had nothing to do with slavery. My problem is that, one, I do know that in Africa, they didn't have a problem with slavery at all, and this has nothing to do with the Jews. This is just the way it was. Like the young man was saying before, it was just the way it was. So my mindset is completely different towards it because of the simple fact that I'm like, okay, that is the way it was. It doesn't, the ends, what do you say? The end doesn't justify the means. That's a true statement. But when we're here in a country that has benefited so much from it, and then gets to turn around and say, oh yeah, we're going to choose a higher moral platform but yet it's like, to take that stance is like, well, then do the other right thing.
The country as a whole didn't benefit from it. Only certain people did.
Well, see, then that's the thing, is that now you have to know a little bit more, right? Now you have to know.
The country ended up fighting in one of the bloodiest wars they've ever fought over it.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what my point. And most of them were people of God that wanted to see people liberated. Most of them were not people that were
liberated.
Who were those? Who were those people of God fighting against?
Those people of God were fighting against people that actually
of God.
I was getting ready to say that. I was going to say actually other people that believed that they were fighting over a principle. They were fighting over a principle. Now, here's the same. You see, this is what I mean about human depravity. You see the same thing. Jesus comes to save mankind. What happens? His own people don't receive him. His own people, like I'm saying, this is a human flaw.
Duke, I'm so sorry. Are you? Because I feel like this is we're at the bottom here of why this is so important. Are you familiar with a pastor by the name of Doug Wilson?
No.
I think that Pete Schmegseth, I don't know whose name you can say anymore on this platform, I'm so sorry, I think is part of his church. But he is like recently, Doug Wilson.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Has come out.
Sense, though. Perfect sense.
Yeah, he was on a podcast.
Yeah, he's come out very publicly on very large platforms saying things like, slavery is not immoral. Right now we were too fallen to do it correctly, but when the Bible, what he says is his motto is no problem passages. Right?
Yeah,
so when he says, when the Bible says, Leviticus 25, you can own people's property, then it is good because God said it, right? We just have to do it right. And the reason, obviously, like, I think we all recognize this, the reason it's so goddamn dangerous is because we've seen what happens when that's done, right?
Right.
And so I feel like the reason that, Mac and Ape and I are up here and others all the time talking about this is because, like, if this ancient text, just like all the other ancient texts of the period, is operating based on an ethical structure that is okay with the social institution of slavery, then, man, maybe we shouldn't be using it as the basis for our ethical system. You know what I mean?
And I totally get that, because I
Okay.
think what we're really looking at is, and this is why I wanted to come on, because I think you guys are doing such a good job at talking about, like, not only just the existence of God, but how do we deal with human depravity? Because if there is no God, and this is what I tell my congregation, if there is no God, then humans still are the problem with the earth, because they created God. So humans are still the worst thing to ever happen to the planet, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, we're trying to fix that. We're trying to help people out with that. For the sake of goodness, we don't think we're going to heaven. We don't think we're getting a eternal reward. We just want to see humans do better. And the way to do that is not by utilizing an authoritarian scripture
But here's
that
the thing,
says
though.
people can own people as property, and it's perfectly fine with God.
But the fact that most Christians today, and see, that's not a true statement that I was about to say, because most American Christians today do not see slavery as a good thing, but because it still happens overseas, it's part of their culture. So we have gotten a higher revelation and a liberation from it, because we saw the atrocity of it. But that also means that we had the opportunity.
You just said it was good.
I'm so sorry, but like Duke, that's the thing is, those, as you know, like those that forget the past are doomed to repeat it. That's why it's such a huge thing that somebody like Doug Wilson is getting so much public traction saying this stuff, because it's like they want to forget all the atrocities that took place.
That's not okay, though.
No, I agree with you. Right?
Yeah, because what I'm talking about is like the escape from human depravity and progressing as a human species, and that's what Paul alludes to when he says there'll be neither slave nor free. And it's almost like, okay, so this is what I mean when I think about what slaves had to go through, and there was always this hope that a better day was coming, this hope that freedom was coming. And then someone like Harriet Tubman shows up and offers this, but it doesn't look anything the way you thought it was, right? And it doesn't, and it's like you either have a choice to run for your freedom or not. And when I think about that, it didn't come the way they thought it was going to come or whatever. There were people that she had to unalive because they didn't understand what freedom really was, right? And so my point is that when I look at the people that got in that First Timothy chapter 6, when he's saying, hey, don't rebel against your slave masters, this and that, he's like, I see where he's saying if you address the heart of the man, you can address, like, the easiest way I can say it is, if you're God, right, and you're trying to save humanity, and you're the God of the slave and you're the God of the slave master, how do you manage that? If you're the God of both and you're trying to get you, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're the God of both, the slave and the slave master. If I was
all-knowing, all-powerful, all-loving God, I would have said never own slaves to begin with. I would have just straight up outlawed it.
What you do is you don't uphold the slave master's position.
Yeah, you don't give the slave master power. You take the power away from him, just like we did. Just like this law here that says you can't enslave male Hebrew Israelites. He clearly forbids that. So why not just ascend that and say, hey, maybe not enslave anybody. Hey, maybe when you go to war, instead of taking women and children as captives and making them sex slaves, maybe forbid that too while you're at it.
Well, that's the thing, is that we've changed God from, and this is where it gets confusing, because we've changed God when we had this relationship with God, when it was God and man. And now we're in a modern culture where most people think that they can do life without God, right? So then when God goes, okay, then you guys come up with the ideas. You guys, because I believe this 100%. When he made...
That's what we're doing. We've moved past the Bible and God and slavery.
What is this
we
modern
said,
world?
in spite of God, we don't like slavery. This is not good for humanity. We're going to outlaw it.
Yeah, but the majority of, but that's the thing, is that the Muslims believe in it, but they're not even, there's so many cultures that are still doing it, and then there's people that are atheists that still do it. That's what I'm talking about. If we're honest about humanity, it's not constricted to just the belief in God at all. That's like saying
I don't know what that means.
Because that's like saying
Yeah,
that
and
if
you
you're
can flex on your beliefs if you want, but God is an authoritative figure. What God says is supposed to go according to God, and God says you can't own slaves. There is nowhere in the
yeah,
Bible
but
that condemns slavery. That's
you
our
have
whole
to
point. And you're
right.
running the dangerous line, just like earlier when you had to say, well, if God says it's good, then it's good. You're pushing that line because somebody has the power to eventually make you adhere to this and maybe start thinking, maybe slavery is okay if God's
The
allowed it.
issue is that he gave humans the earth. That's the thing, is that he created
No,
it, but he
he
said
gave them laws too.
he gave them
Yeah.
laws to build his nation, right?
Yeah,
So
right.
this
That
is
you're
this
not
is
part of, by the way.
this is what I'm saying. How do you know that?
Africa is not in the table of nations.
Yeah, and it's
You're
not
not
in
Africa,
Israel. It's
West
not the Holy
Africa.
Land.
It's not
Well,
even, not even Gentiles. They're not even considered Gentiles.
so so
Which, oddly
I
enough, to
don't
me,
believe it.
Africa is the true Holy Land. To me, like archaeologically and historically, Africa is the motherland. Like it's where it
Like
all started.
so I don't necessarily believe that, but the oh, I mean, I do believe that all life began in Africa. That's why I was a little confused. But because that whole Africa wasn't even called Africa. Never mind. But that's another point.
Do you think
But
the Garden of Eden was in Africa?
Akabula means Eden, and the name Africa was named after a general in
Do you think
Alexander the.
do you think the Tigris and the Euphrates are in Africa?
It's not called that now, but all of that was considered Eden.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's way
those
far
rivers
from Africa.
exist.
It's like 800 miles from Africa, actually.
No, I'm saying that continent that was Eden, the Garden of Eden, where he put them, that was still Akabula. That was what we call Africa. That was all
Yeah,
Africa.
and it wasn't
No, it
Africa though.
wasn't.
It wasn't
You
Africa.
got to
It was
remember
in the
when
Fertile Crescent.
the Fertile Crescent, right?
That's like yeah, Iran and Iraq, sort of that area.
Exactly, that right. But what I'm saying is that was all considered. Remember, the Tower of Babel happened. That's when all those nations began to form.
How old
They
is
were
the Earth?
all, huh?
How old is the Earth?
How old is the Earth?
Yeah,
I don't know, a couple million years.
no, it's
Shit.
in the billions, right? It's like 4.5 billion. Yeah.
Okay,
How long have humans been on Earth?
I have no idea. I have no idea because of the simple fact that there's time really doesn't start technically until death became an issue when they brought sin into the world. So we don't know how long they lived before they brought death in, because they were Adam and Eve. So we don't know.
They lived about 6,000 years ago if you add up the generations in the Bible.
No, I'm talking about we don't know. I know that part, but I'm talking about we don't know how long Adam and Eve brought sin into the world. Like how long they were alive before they
Well, if they
brought
came
sin
into
into the world.
creation about 6,000 years ago, then it was about 6,000 years ago.
Well, it says that Adam, like, so it says because Adam was created for eternity. Death was not a part of.
No, that's not true.
Huh?
That's not true. They weren't made immortal.
Well, then why would he say, if you eat of this fruit, then you'll die?
He said, in the day.
That's what he was talking about, them dropping dead if they eat it.
In the day that it says when you eat it. It doesn't say like if you eat it at some point you will die. It says when.
So you think they could have died of old age at some point?
Yeah, 930 years, as the Bible says.
That's after they bit the fruit. After they brought.
It says Adam's days. It says Adam's days on the earth were 930 years.
Yeah, and then death came.
No.
Yeah.
Death was there. Cain killed Abel while Adam and Eve were still alive. What are you talking about?
Right, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that before they bit the fruit, death was not an issue. You're saying that I've never heard that before. You're saying that death.
No, they had never thought of death. They didn't have the knowledge of that sort of thing. That's what the whole fruit thing was about.
Well, because remember he said
evil.
He said that you could eat of all the trees. Well, the tree of life was right beside the tree of the knowledge of good and evil.
Right. If they were immortal, why would they need the tree of life?
Yeah.
So
that tree was guarded.
So if they were eating of the tree of life, and he said you could eat all the trees, he only said the one tree you can't eat of.
It doesn't say they ate of it. It says before they eat of it, we have to kick them out.
Right. No, he said now. He says now. Now, if they eat of it. So you have to think about this. If he says now, if they, which to me that's saying that they were eating of it. He goes now, if they eat of it, they will stay in this state. Now, if they eat of it, like they were doing it, and then goes now, if they eat of it. So now he removes the tree of life. So that's why I don't think.
Wait a minute. You understand that the tree of knowledge was just standing there. They could reach up and grab a fruit from it, right?
Right.
He said, don't eat out of that tree, that they could literally just reach up if they wanted to. The tree of life was guarded. They couldn't get near it. Yes, it does.
After
it doesn't. He said that
he guarded the tree of life.
Right, because he said that they could eat of all the trees except one. So that lets me know that they were
back to the garden.
Right. So what I'm saying is that they mean that lets me know that they were eating all the trees, including the tree of life. And then one day they decided to eat the one tree they were not supposed to.
If they were going to reach out their hand and eat from the tree of life and live forever, like it says, that means that eating from the tree of life would grant them eternal life. So how would they have eternal life if they died?
Because if they're still in his instruction, if he said you can eat of all of these trees, then don't eat from this tree, they create a new reality. By when they take
said in the day that you eat of it, you'll die. But you're ignoring that part.
Right. No, I'm not. What that is his judgment, his sovereignty, and then what does he do? He cursed the earth in their stead. It says that he cursed the earth in their stead.
In Adam's stead. Eve was still cursed. The ground was cursed for Adam's sake, not Eve's.
That's not what it says.
Yeah, it does. He cursed Eve.
He cursed Adam too.
Because you have listened to the voice of your wife, cursed is the ground because of you. So, who was Eve's wife? Who was Eve's wife?
No, I'm saying he cursed both of them. Well, actually, I don't even think he cursed both of them, but that's okay.
No, he cursed Eve, and he cursed the ground on Adam's behalf.
No, it said that he cursed the earth in their stead. And then he tells Adam that he's going to have to...
is the ground because of you.
Right.
He was talking to Adam. Otherwise, you're going to have to tell me who Eve's wife was.
Not Eve's wife. No, this is what happened. When they bit the fruit...
Because you have listened to the voice of your wife. You're trying to say that this curse was for both of them. So then who is Eve's wife?
No, he said, curse is the ground because of you, as in both of them, because the two were one flesh.
Because you have listened to the voice of your wife. That's talking to one person.
Yeah, he's moved on to Adam.
He already gave
the woman
Eve her
and
punishment.
Adam.
Hold on. Let me pull out my scripture. Hold on 1 second.
You're good, man. Go ahead. Yeah. And what I was meaning earlier was, I did say guarded the tree. I was saying, why didn't he just guard the tree from the first place, and none of this would have ever happened? He could have put the cherub and the flaming sword thing. So,
because he gave
not all knowing. He's not all knowing. He didn't know you have to do that.
Where is it?
He did ask him questions when he was walking through the garden.
So when I hear he cursed the earth, and he goes, because of you the earth is cursed, he's letting Adam know, because of you, just like you said, because of you the ground is cursed. But what you're seeing is him not kill them. Like, he lets them know that he's still keeping his word, but you're still seeing his
word was
breaks.
that they would die that day.
No.
His word was that they would die that day.
Sorry, someone's called me. All right, say that again.
His word was that they would die that day.
Right. His sovereignty is that he still made a decision to say, I'm going to give you his grace. If you look at what he says in Genesis 6, he did. Death still came.
Word was that
Death still came, but not on the day. Why? Because of his grace.
Was that they would die that day.
He told them actually they would die if they even touched it.
Right.
Well, that's what Eve said, but she's a liar.
That's what Eve said. Adam, that's what Eve said.
Well, she said God said that.
Yeah. Eve said that.
So,
but still, what you're looking at is because he said. So if you look at Genesis 6, he does it again. He said in Genesis 6, he does it again. He says, "I'm going to destroy mankind that I've created," and he goes, "But Noah found grace." So there again, you see where he says he's going to do something, and then he issues out his grace to do something else, to give man another chance. So it's like what you deserve, but then there's what you deserve. That's not the same thing as grace?
No, it's not. It's not. What he did in Genesis 6 is not the same thing in Genesis 3.
Him saying that, so you're saying grace didn't show up in the garden when he said he's going to take them out on the same day, and then he doesn't.
No, you're saying he's saying he kept his word.
Because I'm saying that in the sense that
he can't keep his word and that they die. He could have said, "Hey, I forgive you and I'll give you grace," but that's him going back from his word because he told them if they eat the fruit or touch it, they'll die, according to Eve.
Yeah, according to Eve. And this is what's funny is that it seems like Satan told more truth, right? Satan actually says, Satan says, "You will not surely die," right? Now, what's interesting about that is that then God goes, "Oh, now that they've bit the fruit," he goes, "Man has become like one of us, knowing both good and evil." So it is possible that God was like just saying, "Okay, I'm going to tell them this." Because if God's still sovereign and says, I'm like a need to know basis thing, and then they do it, and it's like, all right, well, now you know. I can see that happening.
How did they know what dying meant? Or Adam? Eve wasn't even there. How did Adam know what dying meant?
I think that's because of this is the part where I think personally, my personal opinion is that there were certain qualities that I don't think Adam was a complete idiot because God had already given him dominion over the earth. So I think there was an understanding. Part of God was in Adam. So I think he did have a certain amount of intelligence. I think that that God was asking.
Where did he get that intelligence?
From the breath of God.
Did he get it from learning stuff, or did God just put it in his head?
I think both. I think they had a relationship. So, like with him walking in the cool of the day.
So why all this dance here that God's doing with the trees and all this and that? Why didn't God just put the damn knowledge in his head and stick them out the garden to start with instead of all this rigmarole and punishing people and punishing women and making men rule over them and having painful childbirths? Why didn't he just say this is the order of things?
At the end of the day, this is what I mean about his sovereignty, is that if you look at it from the perspective of God, he's creating a family a family of divine beings that he wants. So humans, to me, whether you believe in God or not, if you're a human being, you're divine. You are created in the image of God. And then whether you go to heaven or hell or not, that's an issue of faith. All right, that's an issue of how you lived.
Well, I think we're definitely better than God because even you don't like slavery. We think this is evil. So if we're going against God's laws and saying, no, we think this is wrong, don't keep these laws, that's just us blaspheming or either being better than God, one.
Well, no, I think we're just like him. That's what we were supposed to be, was like him.
No, we're not like him. I don't like slavery. I'm not okay with slavery. God is.
But the thing is that when humans create constructs, and then we live in those constructs that aren't against God, that are against God. There's other things that you might agree with that God does. It doesn't mean we're better. It means that this particular subject we don't like.
No, there's a
how
lot
he
of
handled
things. Like God says you can take women and children captive in war, and almost the whole earth got together. Almost every country on the planet made this thing called the Geneva Convention that says no, we don't like this. So the whole world's nearly going against God, and that's illegal. You're not supposed to be able to do that. It's against international law.
Yeah, but that's what I mean about human depravity. When you look at human depravity,
we're not.
You
no,
still
God is depraved. We're better. We made ourselves better by coming up with these laws, but these go against God's laws. If we were using God's laws, we would be even more depraved.
I guess the issue is that humans are the ones that came up with slavery, and then God's like, all right, well, then we're going to work from within that realm that you guys created, and then we're like, oh yeah, God's bad because he didn't say something
when at any point from Genesis to Revelation was slavery condemned?
So this is a complete heart issue, right? So when I said it's a complete heart issue.
No, I
So
heard you.
it wasn't condemned, but it was revealed that this was not good for the human condition.
Where was that revealed?
With Jesus, when Jesus says, I've come to liberate, I've come to set the captives free.
He wasn't talking about slaves.
The captives were the Israelites.
I think when I look at the ambition that he talks about, when he says things like there'll be neither slave nor free, or all that stuff.
That. Paul said it.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Are there still male and female?
He said he's talking about being in heaven, right?
Right, spiritually, right? Nothing to do with the conditions on earth.
Because he's talking about what man has done with the earth, the condition that mankind created on earth. He's saying in heaven, you're not going to have to worry about this, but he's working within. Because don't forget, the earth is already condemned.
It kind of contradicts what's said in Isaiah, right? Where it's talking about the new heaven and the new earth, and that Gentiles are going to be slaves to the Jews.
Yes. Do you know what Gentile means, right? No covenant. That doesn't mean non-Jew. It means no covenant.
I mean, that's your revision.
That's not a revision. That's what it actually means. Gentile means no covenant.
Gentiles just anybody but Jews.
The
captives are explicitly the captives when God put the Israelites in captivity in Babylon. That's what the captives are.
But when Christ comes,
the captivity.
Right. So when Christ comes, when you look at Abraham, right, he was a Gentile. Okay. He becomes a Jew because he believed God. In Genesis 15, it says, then Abraham believed. So that's when the covenant with God and Abraham is made, when Abraham believed. So once he believed, he creates this new construct called faith, this new construct that mankind wasn't operating in, because the Tower of Babel happens in Genesis 11, Genesis 12. Abraham comes from that. He says, leave your father's house. He comes from that. By Genesis 15 says, he says, then Abraham believed God. God requires belief, right? So now this covenant is made. So by the time Jesus gets here, and there were other people that weren't Jewish that are in the bloodline of Jesus, that came and said, I'll believe the woman, I think her name was Naomi. And Naomi says, your God will become my God. And she becomes of the Jewish faith. So they're really a faith race. Jewish people are a faith race of covenant that God has made, a faith race of covenant.
This is so bad. This is just fucking gobbledygook, man.
But it's what the scripture says. It says, then he leave your father's house. So before, that means that Abraham had a father. He had his own bloodline. He comes from the land of Chaldeans. The Chaldeans were another group of people and became enemies of the people of God. Much like when Jews accept Christ, they get cut off from their family. So if you are Muslim and you convert, so this was Abraham was the first conversion. He's called the father of the faith. So he was a genetic human from the same people that made the Tower of Babel, but then he became something else with a different belief system.
The Tower of Babel was built in Babylon.
The Tower of Babel, if you look in Genesis 11,
Babylonians. It was built by Babylonians, not Israelites.
No, I'm.
Yeah, or you're talking about reality.
It says that they were all. I'm saying. It says that they were all one. Man was all one in Babel.
Yeah.
Right. It says they were in Babel.
The host is talking about reality. Right.
No, I'm talking about reality too.
No, you're not. You can't be if you're talking about the Tower of Babel.
No, man, you're talking about a mythological story from Babylon. That didn't even happen.
So that's those belief systems, but I get it. So, but based off the Bible, what the Bible is saying, that the Tower of Babel was built in Babel, right? And that's where they all were. And then God tells Abraham to come out from amongst them. And then when Abraham believed God, then you see the birth of what we call the Jewish people. But
In the
they were
lifetime of Abraham, there was no Israelites in Babylon in any biblical
we know
sense.
that's exactly what I'm saying. Is that when he believed, then he said, leave your father's house. So he believed, and then he started. That's when he had Ishmael and Isaac and all of that stuff. He starts building the nation from that, but it was all based off belief. Lot was a Gentile. Lot followed him.
I'm talking about the captives explicitly. When it says the captives, that's the Israelites in Babylon.
So when Jesus says the captives, and that's the same mindset that the Jewish people had of that day.
Yeah,
so,
that's what I'm saying about. Jesus don't know what he's talking about. That's how I know the New Testament's lying to you.
So when Jesus says that he's talking about, because when you look at Genesis 12, he tells Abraham his entire plan. He says, through you, all families of the earth will be saved. So the Jewish construct that he's creating is a system where all families of the earth can be saved. He didn't say, I'm not thinking about these other people.
You didn't need Jesus from that. This is all in the Old Testament. That happened over 500 years before Jesus.
Abraham was 500 years before Jesus?
Abraham was way further than that. I'm talking about the captivity and the new covenant that you're talking about. This is 500 years before Jesus.
Right, and Jesus came to fulfill that. But this is where I think that even the
He can't fulfill a covenant that happened at the end of the 70 years. This covenant is formed the day that the exiles leave Babylon, and it tells you that explicitly. And it also says this covenant will never be broken again. So how is it possible that Jesus fulfilled the covenant that started 500 years prior?
No, he's fulfilling the covenant with Abraham that all families of the earth will be saved. He's fulfilling that covenant that God made with Abraham.
Some of it's going to be destroyed. It depends on what part of the Bible you read. But in Jeremiah 31, it's about the actual new covenant. And it said, but this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, says the Lord. I will put my law within them and write it on their hearts, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. So it says, after those days. Do you know what days those are talking about?
After the days of the captivity.
Right.
But you do know that
with Cyrus.
Right.
And 500 years before Jesus. So after those days, after the captivity ends, 500 years passes, Jesus comes along. So this captivity ended. This says, I'm going to write my law on their hearts and their minds after those days. Do you remember when those days ended 500 years before Jesus?
But when Jesus quoted from Isaiah, when he read the book before he started preaching, he quoted from Isaiah, and he said, today this is fulfilled. That's when the Pharisees got really ticked off at him, because he read that and then sat down in the mercy seat and said, today this is fulfilled. Because he's saying, I have come.
Okay, well, when does God say all this is going to be fulfilled? When does Jeremiah and Isaiah and Ezekiel all say this is going to be fulfilled?
So they said after the captivity.
Exactly.
Right.
The day the captives leave Babylon, that's when Zion is restored and the new covenant is formed. Jesus has nothing to do with that.
But what I'm saying is that when Jesus came and Jesus read of the scripture from Isaiah, right? This is what a lot of what the Jewish people didn't understand when they didn't accept him, is that he was fulfilling the covenant that was made with Abraham, bringing all mankind. That's why you have people that believe
the new covenant wasn't formed with Abraham. The new covenant was made with the house of Israel and the house of Judah.
So what did God mean? So what did God mean when he told Abraham, through the nation that he was going to build through Abraham, that all families of the earth would be saved? He didn't say all Jews.
That's what happens. That happens. That's what the new covenant is about. In Isaiah, it says all foreigners are going to be welcomed into this covenant. They're all going to be so dazed and amazed by Israel's restoration after they leave Babylon that the whole world's going to come to Yahweh through the Israelites, not through Jesus. That's the whole point of the Old Testament.
But the thing is that the whole world, that's the issue, is that now the whole world can know, because we have the ability to communicate. We have salvation. We have the ability to communicate to the whole world.
It says the covenant will be extended to all who obey.
Right, but it also means that it would have to be presented to the entire world. And so now, because
he says he's going to write it on their hearts and on their mind, and the whole world is going to witness this and see it happen. It says you will be justified by knowledge in the Old Testament, not by blood.
Right.
You're justified by the knowledge of the law that's
Right.
written on your heart and on your mind. That's what knowledge is.
So, and now the whole world's watching Israel right now.
No, during the captivity, the whole world sees this happen. It literally explains all of this
Is the whole
verbatim.
is the whole world impressed by Israel right now?
No. But what I'm talking about is that isn't it interesting that the entire world is watching what happens in Israel right now?
Watching them commit atrocities and war crimes.
But we don't have all the information to know what's really going on.
There's enough information to know exactly what's going on over there.
No, when you have a death culture like
that's crazy.
No, what I'm saying is that you know how the media and the government and all the I don't believe there's any good governments out there. There's no good governments out there. So when you look and you see,
hey, we probably agree on that. But anyway, we know that Isaiah is talking about the captivity. Like this has nothing to do with anything now. This says the Lord has bared his holy arm before the eyes of all nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our God. Says depart, go out from there, touch no unclean thing. This is literally saying the entire world is witnessing the exiles leave Babylon. This happened 2,600 years ago, nearly.
But do you know how many times that's what I'm saying when it comes to the Jewish people? These people that were, like I said, that came from Abraham. That happened, 4 days after the Spanish sent Christopher Columbus. They were attacked then.
But listen, do you understand that this covenant is formed when the exiles leave Babylon, not when Jesus comes and dies for you? This has nothing to do with the Messiah dying for anybody's sins, ever. This is not what the Old Testament talks about.
Right, I agree with that. What I'm saying is that's the covenant. What I'm talking about, what Jesus did was when he started quoting from Isaiah and said, today this is fulfilled. So the covenant was made, then it's fulfilled. And Jesus fulfilled that covenant. And then
Jesus did not fulfill a covenant that was fulfilled 500 years prior to Jesus. That's
the
my
Isaiah
whole point.
covenant.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. How could Jesus possibly have anything to do with a new covenant that formed 500 years before him?
I'm talking about.
He didn't rewrite a new covenant. That's not how it works.
No, I'm talking about covenant being made and covenant being fulfilled. If you invite me over for dinner and I say I'll be there,
it was already fulfilled. That's what I'm telling you. This already happened way before Jesus. He can't have possibly have.
You're talking about the Jeremiah captivity. You're talking about I'm talking about Isaiah.
Jeremiah. Isaiah's talking about the same thing. So is Ezekiel.
Because when Isaiah,
the Babylonian captivity.
But they were already in captivity. So when Jesus shows up, they're in captivity with Rome. And when he reads Isaiah, he says, today this is fulfilled, because he's saying this is what this covenant really was. It was talking about me.
I'll tell you what. Are you talking about Matthew 11?
Yeah, when Jesus read from the scroll and he said, he quotes from Isaiah.
I'm sending my messenger before you who will prepare the way before you. That's what he's quoting from Isaiah, right?
I believe it's Isaiah 11. No, Isaiah 50. Let me see here.
Yeah, it's further than that. It's going to be in Deutero, Isaiah, but I can't remember which one in there. I think it's 42. It's either 42 or 49.
Is this the one where he butchers Isaiah? Talking about like giving sight to the blind, and that's not even like in the passage.
Well, yeah, he's bringing up the passage, and the passage is like literally just Isaiah. Like Isaiah's the one bringing the news to the captives and stuff. It says, "I'm the Lord. I've called you in righteousness. I've taken you by the hand." Yeah. But clearly, it's not.
But that's how the Pharisees felt about it. That's exactly how they felt.
Yeah, because they knew what Isaiah actually said, and they knew Jesus was full of it, and because he's misquoting Isaiah. They knew he was misquoting it. They were the actual scholars of the time. They're the ones who knew the text, not Jesus.
And now because he told them that the reason why they can't see who he is because they erred in the scripture. Because what they did was it was supposed to have been love, law, that was supposed to be, like he said, the law was built off love. And so the problem is that the Pharisees were so focused on the law that they weren't seeing the love. So when, again, they themselves had forgotten that God said that all culture, basically all nations of the earth would be saved through this form this nation called Israel, that all nations of the earth. So that's Genesis 12, right? They themselves had forgotten that. They were looking for world dominance. They were looking to dominate. They wanted out of oppression. They wanted a
Yeah, and
dominate.
that's what because that's what Isaiah says. It says the entire world, kings are going to come in procession to you and princes are going to prostrate themselves before you. Like Isaiah literally says the entire world is going to lick the dust off the feet of the Israelites.
Right.
That's the whole point.
And Jesus is going, that's going to be, they're talking about me. He's correcting them, saying
You think
that
Jesus is saying the entire world's going to lick the dust off my feet?
Well, dude, the entire world talks about Jesus. We're talking about him right now.
We're talking about licking dust off their feet. That's what it says.
No, so what he's talking about, if you look at the analogy that he's using, he's not talking about actually licking. You know what's funny about that? I just saw.
Listen,
Oh, I
this
gotta
is
tell
what
you
I'm
this.
saying though. In the actual context of Isaiah, it has absolutely nothing to do with the Messiah. It's not talking about one guy who comes and does anything. This is about the chastisement of the captives in Babylon and the day that they leave and the covenant that is formed when they leave.
With Cyrus.
That's all Isaiah is about.
Right, but I'm talking
Cyrus
about
frees them and rebuilds the city and lays the temple's foundations. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. This has squat to do with a guy 500 years later. It's nothing contextually about anything like that. It's not in Isaiah. So anytime Jesus quotes Isaiah and says it's about him, about a single guy doing something, he don't know what he's talking about. That's why I'm saying the Pharisees knew he didn't know what he was talking about. Obviously. Oh no, it dropped.
We're in grave danger.
I think so.
Damn, these are the last days, huh?
It's the last days of the captivity. They're gonna build the third temple.
Any
how
minute
many
now.
covenants are there in the dang Bible by this time? Like, what are we on? The 6th, 7th covenant?
Oh yeah.
The 6th or 7th eternal covenant?
Yeah. What age are we in? All that stuff.
Right. Oh shit! I thought he was requesting back up. All right. Well, we still got some people in the queue here. So let's see. I wonder who's been around the longest. I don't know. Let's try Mark. Maybe Mark's still here. Are you there, Mark? Can you hear me? Mark 61?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, what's up, man? Are you over 18 and are you a Christian?
I am, and I apologize. I am not. And I just got the invite, so I popped up. But I'll step down so you can get another apologetist in there.
We'll do that, brother. And don't apologize for not being a Christian. That's a good thing, in fact. Some would say, anyhow. All right, let's see. Let's try this one. Can't tell if they're loading in or not. It's hard to do for some reason. Oops. Dat Boy Bands, are you there? Can you hear me? Oh, I guess not. Followed him on accident too. We'll have to go to. All right. All right. Let's see. I think we got. Yeah. Cross, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, what's up, man? You're over 18 and you're a Christian, aren't you?
Yeah, 39 a Christian.
Cool, man. Well, we really had to tell you this, and we're sorry, but the New Testament lied to you about Jesus. It's not what you think.
That's a claim. That's a claim. So,
right.
I've heard a lot of people say Jesus is not let me say, he's not the Messiah talked about
in Isaiah because Isaiah is
Uh,
talking specifically about the Jews, right? A remnant of the Jews. I always want to read certain things in context because, for instance, it becomes very obvious when you read Isaiah 49 that there is specificity. We're talking about an individual here, okay? In
yeah, the
253.
prophet himself. Yeah.
Not the prophet himself. Isaiah never said I. He speaks. I mean, come on. Isaiah has spoken boldly on many occasions, saying, "I, Isaiah." Okay. He when in fact he talks about himself, the son of Amos, the vision of the son
Well,
of
sure,
Amos.
but even if that was the case, it wouldn't make sense that it's Jesus because this says you have to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the survivors of Israel. The survivors of Israel are the captives.
No, but you see, if you
So
talk
it has to
about
be somebody from this time.
no, not you see, when you talk about restoring the captives of Israel, you must understand that Christ, okay, begins to do a work. And when Christ begins to do a work, it doesn't say chronologically that he must finish it within a specific time. It doesn't. Is there a timeline that is given?
Yeah,
Where?
it's in the time of Cyrus.
Oh, okay. Can I read Isaiah
And like in
49?
Jeremiah, it says when the 70 years end. So at the end of the 70-year period, this is when all these
Oh,
covenants are formed.
no, but sometimes when you look at scripture, it can talk about 70 years in terms of years of weeks, okay? Or let's say it's looking at it as I think was in Daniel where he says after 2 days he shall revive us, and yet it was talking about days in terms of millennia.
No, it never says
Where is your
millennia.
justification for that?
Okay, I will take I will go to that, but can I first read Daniel? Sorry, can I first read Isaiah 49?
Well,
Yeah, sure. I love
Okay,
Isaiah.
every
okay.
time they do this, like a week is a year or whatever, or a day is a year, it says it in text, except for these lines. And like the thing with Daniel, when you say like this represents something, it doesn't say that, but every other time it does. Like in Ezekiel, right, when he says like lay on your side for 390 days, each day representing a year, it tells you that conversion, but that doesn't exist in Daniel.
No, but okay. Prophetically speaking, in terms of the codex, we know that a people are supposed to be able to look within prophetic timelines and draw inferences from the way the prophets speak in a wider context. If you look at what Daniel talks about, let's say at the end of Daniel 12, you know it's not pertaining to that specific time. And we've seen it where he uses beasts to represent nations. So across
No,
the
the
board, I can say,
context of that prophecy was that time. It just ended by saying the end of the age will eventually come. But that's not the time that it's talking about then. It's saying that time's eventually going to come. But all the stuff that it was talking about was still for then, contextually.
oh, so you when we read this, we're still gonna go to look at what when, for instance, when you say it's Israel, if it actually matches up. I think it's just best to juxtapose what is said here and look if anybody, for instance, the prophet matches this, because in the same Isaiah 66, I think it's 64, where he says his righteousness is as a filthy rag. So the righteousness that comes from the prophet is comparable to a filthy rag. The righteousness that comes from the people is comparable to a filthy rag. But this is someone who supersedes that. I think, was it Isaiah 9 where he talks about, and the government shall rest upon his shoulders, he shall be called El Gibor, mighty God, who in Jewish biblical history deserves to be called mighty God except God himself.
That's literally what the name Hezekiah means.
Oh, so wait. So you're saying when he says he shall be called mighty God, only in terms of name, that's what you're inferring?
Yeah, it's a prophetic name. My name is Jesse. My name means God is real. That was David's father. Like my name has a prophetic meaning even today. But that's what Hezekiah means. Like you can look it up even in modern terms, in modern Hebrew, it means like the strength of the Lord or the might of God. It literally means that.
No, yes, I know Hezekiah means the mighty God, but he is not called. Hezekiah is not called the mighty God,
If
and
his
he's
name is Hezekiah and his name means mighty God, then he is called mighty God, literally.
no. Come on. So he is also called everlasting Father. Is Hezekiah called everlasting Father?
It was an enthronement prophecy, man. But hold on, let's stick to 49 real quick.
Okay,
And then
let me read
we'll
on.
move on to that because this is two different things going on there.
Okay, can I read this? Listen, O isles, unto me, Isaiah 49 from verses 1. Listen, O isles, unto me, and hearken ye people from far. The Lord hath called me from the womb, and from the bowels of my mother hath he made mention of my name. And he hath made my mouth like a sharp sword, and in the shadow of his hand he hath hid me, and made me a polished shaft in his quiver hath he hid me, and said unto me, Thou art my servant, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified. Okay?
Wow,
Then,
that's a good one. Yeah.
yeah, what?
I said, yeah, that's a good one there. It just said the servant is Israel in whom he's
Good.
going to be
No,
glorified.
but my submission is that the Messiah can represent Israel. Since you can have a remnant representing the whole, okay, you can
This
have the
literally
whole.
just says Israel. This is talking about the captives. He's glorified through the Israelites, not through a prophet.
Okay, no, can we carry on? Let's carry on and see this. And said unto me, Thou art my servant, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified. Then I said, I have labored in vain, I have spent my strength for naught, and in vain, yet surely my judgment is with the Lord, and my work with my God. And now, saith the Lord, that formed me from the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob again to him, though Israel be not gathered. Okay, so who is being brought to him?
Israel.
Good. So this person is within Israel and is bringing the deceiver or those that are in deception back to him, right? Though Israel be not
The
gathered.
captives, yeah, that's the whole point of this. You're talking about context. That's the whole point, yeah.
No, but Israel is bringing Jacob back to him. So it's a
Right.
representative.
God sent Isaiah to tell them. Isaiah is the one who is literally bringing the good news to the captives. He's saying, listen up, Israel, good news. You're going to about to be punished really, really bad. But there's good news. God is going to bless your offspring when you come out of this captivity, and the whole world's going to serve God through the Israelites. He's glorifying himself through Israel, literally. And that's what
Okay.
happens here. That's the context.
Okay. I want us to finish this so that when we go to Isaiah 53, we'll see if this matches what you're talking about. Now saith the Lord that
Absolutely.
formed me from the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob again to him. Though Israel be not gathered, yet shall I be glorious in the eyes of the Lord and my God, and shall be my strength. And he said, It is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. So I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mightest be my salvation to the ends of the earth. When on earth did Isaiah become a light to the ends of the earth?
You could read the very next part and it'll tell you.
Okay. Thus saith the Lord, the Redeemer of Israel, and his Holy One, to whom man despiseth, to him whom the nations abhorreth, to a servant of rulers. Kings shall see and arise, princes also shall worship, because the Lord that is faithful and the Holy One of Israel, and he shall choose thee. And thus saith the Lord, in the acceptable time I have heard thee, and in the day of salvation I have helped thee, and I'll preserve thee, and give thee for a covenant of a people, and establish the earth to cause to inherit the desolate heritages, that thou mightest say to the prisoners, Go forth, to them that are in darkness.
Perfect.
Good.
Perfect. That's all you got to read. Isaiah is telling the prisoners, right? You just read that, on the day of salvation to come out. The prisoners are the captives in Babylon. Isaiah is saying, come out of Babylon. That's the whole point. And it literally says this again right before Isaiah 53.
Okay, can I please? When was Isaiah given for a covenant? When was Isaiah given for a covenant?
No, the Israelites are the covenant. You've literally just read this. I don't understand.
I am amazed.
He said, "You are my." Hold on. Isaiah 49. He says, "You are my servant Israel, in whom I will be glorified." And then it goes on to say, "This is the prophet himself is going to say, I'm going to raise up Jacob and give them." This prophet is giving them as a light to the nations. And the Israelites are the light to the nations. It says this in 3 other chapters. 3 times.
Sir. The Jews from the north were
It says,
rebels.
I have kept you and given you as a covenant to the people to establish the land, to apportion the desolate heritages, saying to the prisoners, come out. The prisoners are coming out of Babylon.
No, this is amazing. So wait, are you saying it's the prophet that is given for a covenant, or the Israelites are given for a covenant?
The Israelites are the covenant. It says, the one I have taken by the hand, I have given you as a covenant, a light to the nations. And God takes Israel by the hand.
When did God make Israel? Okay, can I ask you a question? In the history of this, when were the people of Israel given for a covenant? Is God giving
here in this chapter and also in chapter 42?
No, listen. We know that a covenant is not brought into effect until there is either the death
in
of the
chapter
testator.
42. It says, "I am the Lord. I have called you in righteousness. I have taken you by the hand and kept you. I have given you as a covenant to the people, a light to the nations, to open the eyes that are blind, to bring out the prisoners from the dungeon, from the prison who sat in darkness. I am the Lord. That is my name. My glory I give to no other, nor my praise to idols. See, the former things have come to pass, and new things I now declare. They spring forth. I tell you of them." This is Isaiah telling you of the things that are about to spring forth when the exiles leave Babylon. And it says that literally right before chapter 53. Again.
Hello. When were the people given for a covenant for the Gentiles? You're not getting this.
We just read it.
Okay, wait. So, when you say they were given for a covenant, how was that done?
Through Israel. The entire world is witnessing this happen. It says they are justified through knowledge. And the thing that they are witnessing is that exiles leave Babylon. That's the whole point of Isaiah.
No, it's Chief. I am shocked at your interpretation of this. You see, this is
what it says. It's not an interpretation. It's a comprehension, is what it is. And look, in chapter 52, right before the suffering servant song starts, it says, "The Lord has bared his holy arm before the eyes of all nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our Lord." This is saying God is going to bare his arm, and the entire world's going to see it. And right after that, the very next line says, "Depart, depart, go out from there, touch no unclean thing." And then it launches right in to the servant song. This is clearly saying the entire world is going to witness the salvation of the exiles from Babylon. I mean, it's super clear.
I find this to be an atrocious rendering, because in prophetic language,
so when it says depart, depart, go out from there, where are they going out from?
Where?
I'm asking you, tell me. If you know, you're talking about context, you should know what this is talking about.
Okay, I'm saying, where exactly are you quoting when you say, when it says depart? Are you quoting verse 49?
This part's in 52, chapter 52. We can go to 49 if you want, though. It's talking about the same things. It says it there, too.
Can I ask you, in Isaiah 49?
Yeah, it says, saying to the prisoners, come out. They're coming out. They're departing. They're coming from somewhere. A path is made in the wilderness, right?
Yes, but the prisoners, are you saying the prisoners refers to the Jews coming out of captivity?
Yeah. There are the prisoners.
Wow. Just a moment.
That's what 49 is about. It's about the mission of the servant, and that is Isaiah. His mission is to proclaim the good news to the captives. The captives, right after, in the same chapter, 49, after verse 7, it starts, Zion's children to be brought home. They're being brought home from Babylon. Zion's children is Israel, right?
Just a moment. Isaiah 49, okay? I want us to pick out a few things here from verses 5 again. And now say the Lord that formed me from the womb to be his servant, okay?
You remember how that's
Okay.
Isaiah. Do you remember how Jeremiah starts?
The whole of Jeremiah, the book of Jeremiah.
Yeah, Jeremiah starts by saying, the Lord knew me before he formed me in the womb. It's talking about Jeremiah. That's what the prophets are saying. And Isaiah is saying the same right here. Now the Lord says, who formed me in the womb to be a servant. He's forming the prophets as his servants. The prophets are his servants. And so is Israel.
No, but the Messiah is also the servant of God.
This doesn't say it's a Messiah. This doesn't say Messiah anywhere. Show me anywhere in 49 where it says the Messiah is the servant.
Okay, so who's the Holy One?
What?
Okay.
What verse are you talking about?
I want us to, is verse 49 from verse 7. But I just want us to pick from where I was reading. Yes, 49 from verse 7. I just want us to pick this out first. First, I said...
Yeah, it says, thus says the Lord, the Redeemer of Israel and his Holy One. The Holy One is Isaiah.
Isaiah is the Holy One?
Actually, the Holy One's Israel right there. It's saying the one deeply despised and abhorred by the nations.
No, but you are
slave of rulers.
So right now, Isaiah is the Holy One. You said Israel is the Holy One. This is a bit...
Listen to the sentence. Thus says the Lord, the Redeemer of Israel. So the Lord is the Redeemer of Israel and his Holy One. To the one deeply despised. That's Isaiah. He's talking to the one deeply despised. That's Israel.
To whom man despiseth. To whom man despiseth. No, wait. First of all, God is saying, okay, he's the Redeemer of Israel. He's saying so. Then he says that...
Yeah, he says, only I can save you. This is God. He doesn't say only a Messiah can save you. He's saying only I, your Savior and your Redeemer, God, can save you.
No, and prophetically, God says that he shall be amongst his people. Emmanuel, he shall teach his people. Okay, so I just want us to get something clearly here, because whenever we talk in singularity, or let's say,
and what does the very next part start talking about? When verse 8 starts, what is the title of that right before it?
What do you mean? Verse 8 of 49? Is that what you're referring to?
Right before you start reading verse 8, it separates from verse 7. It starts a different part of the chapter, right? What's the title there? Do you have a title?
No, I don't have a title here.
Okay, well, the title in mine is Zion's Children to be Brought Home.
No, the title there is inferences being made by whoever is referencing it. It's not part of the scripture, is it?
Well, what is the entire rest of this chapter about then? When verse 8 starts, what is the rest of this chapter about?
The release of the captives.
What captives? From where?
But if we are talking about the context...
Wait a minute. What captives are we talking about, and where are they being released from?
Okay, sir, the captives here, we know very well that whoever it is that is being given here is being given for a covenant to the Gentiles. Okay? So
you just said the captives are going home. So who are the captives and where are they going home from?
Okay, can I read on, because again, I don't want to sort of just pick out. Well, I think where I'm coming from is very, very important. Where he says that from the verse 6, and he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. So who are the tribes of Jacob and who are the preserved of Israel?
That's what I'm asking you. Who is this talking about? You said it's about captives leaving somewhere. So who are the captives?
I'm saying that it's
where are
about
they
the
living
Holy
from?
One. No, I'm saying the Holy One is the same as the servant who can represent Israel holistically, okay? And he's the same person that the Lord is going to use to do this work. And the captives, because Isaiah was never a light to the Gentiles. I don't know where, for it's a statement, you can say it's Isaiah, but historically, Isaiah never brought any sort of light or salvation to the Gentiles.
Yeah, and you're saying it's Jesus a Messiah. Where does it ever say this is referring to a Messiah?
But it's because throughout Scripture, if you I wish I could finish this,
Look,
then I could start.
You're gonna have to directly answer me for once here. Like, where does this say this is talking about a Messiah who's going to save them?
The Holy
Anywhere.
One is meant to be the Messiah. That's what I'm saying.
Where does it say that or suggest that?
Okay, let me do this.
I want to see the word Messiah somewhere.
No, it doesn't have to say Messiah somewhere. For instance, in the book of
Okay, so where does it suggest it's a Messiah then?
Okay, can I read Psalms? I'm just going to read Psalms and then we can pick it from there. Yes, I'll read Psalms.
No, show me in Isaiah. I don't want to hear a psalm. I want to hear Messiah in the context of Isaiah.
No, Messiah in the context of he that is coming forth to fulfill the word of the Lord, said in Jeremiah 31:31, Ezekiel 36 verses 26.
And the word of the Lord was to free the captives from Babylon. Like, this is all contextually accurate so far, but you're going to have to show me where 49 is referring to a Messiah.
Okay, in the biblical context, okay, there is a personality that goes beyond the prophetic message of the specific time. And I'm saying that the prophetic message of the specific time talks about this being accomplished. So I want to infer or draw to the same personality that is seen across from the prophetic timelines and beyond the work of the specific prophets who even prophesied about him, and draw that inference to say this is the Messiah. That is what I'm doing. I'm cross-referencing from multiple timelines and from multiple prophets which speak of a personality. And this personality, even Daniel...
So basically you're cherry-picking stuff and making it about Jesus.
Okay, but when Daniel says that, and the Son of Man comes to the Ancient of
Days... Now when Daniel...
no, I'm saying that when Daniel says the Son of Man comes to the Ancient of Days, to him shall be given an everlasting kingdom. We are talking about a personality. We've seen snippets of this personality through Scripture. So I'm saying that if we can look at this divine personality that is found or prophesied about in multiple scriptures, we can infer that though it doesn't have to explicitly say this is the Messiah, we're talking about a Messiah.
When it's talking about a Messiah, it tells you what it's talking about. Like, I don't need to guess about any of this. I know what it's talking about.
Sir,
Isaiah, listen, I'll give you this. Isaiah does make it a little more difficult because Isaiah is literally written poetically. But you can read the same story in Jeremiah, and it's all perfectly clear about what's going on here. There is no Messiah coming to save anybody. A Messiah is just a king of the Israelites that's going to take over after the captivity and kind of lead them to greatness. But it's not about saving them. That's not what happens.
Wait.
God is the only Savior in the Old Testament. He saves them by chastising them and purifying them from their sins in the captivity. He says he's going to put chains around their neck. He says, I'm going to pour out my cup of wrath on you. You are going to suffer. Your children are going to suffer. But don't worry. After this period, you're going to be purified, and I'm going to bring you back to the land and rebuild it. And from that day forward, there will be eternal covenants made. It says, I will never again be angry with you or put you to shame, which clearly didn't happen, did it?
Okay, it does happen through Christ, but fine, you can say I am.
It didn't happen through Christ. He was humiliated. Christians have definitely been humiliated. No matter how you look at that one, it doesn't happen through Jesus or any other way.
It does. Do you know why I can say it does? Look, Israel through Christ is known all over the world. Israel through Christ, okay, has for instance, Why
No,
is it?
not through Christ. That's only through Christians. Actual Jews don't accept Christ as
Israel has
some
existed
Messiah.
Are
for
you
seven.
serious? Peter
Israel
was a
has
Jew.
Israel has existed for like 80 years. Of course, the world knows about it.
Okay,
Is
when
there
you
a
say, of
nation? Is
course,
there a nation? Is there a nation in the world that's not known throughout the world?
sir, is
No,
there a
answer that
nation
question. Is there a nation in the world that is not known throughout the world?
Of course, there are many nations I don't know about. There are many nations I don't know about.
Do you
There are
think there
many
are? You
nations.
think there are people who don't know about Israel?
No, but why does Israel have a special status as a very small country? Okay, that is on
What
the
special
map.
status does it have? It has an iron dome.
No, okay, sir. When I say special status, I'm saying the revelation about who or what Israel is all around the world. The history of what Israel is all around the world. The majority of why
Okay,
that
so
is.
what's their history?
No, I'm coming. The majority of, for instance, the biblical history that is provided about Israel came to other nations through Christians.
So
A lot of it.
what?
This came through Israelites, not Christians.
No, you're not getting me. You're not getting me. The propagation of this knowledge has come around the world through Bibles. Is that not so?
Hebrew Bibles?
Not Hebrew Bibles only. Christian Bibles. Christian Bibles.
Oh, so Christians and Hebrew Bibles
No,
told the
sir,
world then,
sir.
not just Christians, right?
If Christians did not claim this text, it wouldn't be as popular as it is. Jesus himself was a Jew. Peter was a Jew. John was a Jew.
Then
In
why
fact,
do y'all insist on lying about the text?
what are we lying about? What are we lying about?
You're saying Isaiah is talking about Jesus. That's
And I'm
ridiculous.
saying it's because the context of what is written there, if you study throughout scripture, you
You
can
can't
see.
get to Jesus from context. That's why no Jews accept Jesus, because they know their own book.
Come on. Again, it's very disingenuous for you to say no Jews. There are a lot of Jews that are Christians. I know.
Not Orthodox Jews. That if they're Christians, they're not Jews.
Yeah, a Christian
Who
is a
says so?
Christian. A Jew is a Jew. What are you talking about?
No. Please, a Jew. We should be clear.
Did you know that the Talmud said Jesus is in hell, boiling in his own excrement?
Yeah, boiling the feces. No. Come on. If you want to go and read from the Talmud, that is not what we're referring to here. We're talking about people who are traditionally Jews, okay, or racially Jews. The way you say someone is an African.
And Jews don't accept Jesus. They don't even think he was a prophet. They think he was a complete phony.
There
And they
are
know
Jews
that because in the context of the Old Testament, they don't describe Jesus.
No, but wait, was Peter not a Jew?
Was Peter not a Jew?
Was he not a Jew?
Jesus was a Jew.
Yes. So are you saying that it's impossible for someone to be no? For instance,
Jesus could be a Jew. The guys that wrote the New Testament in Greek long after Jesus just made him say a bunch of things that they wanted him to say, not what Jesus actually said. We're not speaking from Jesus' voice. Jesus didn't write anything.
No, come on.
Whoever wrote this didn't have any clue what was going on in Isaiah.
Listen,
that's why they think Isaiah 7 was about a virgin.
Hello. When you say Jesus did not say anything, that is again deceptive. Okay, because in the historicity of it, no man, for instance, Muhammad, okay, he didn't write anything in terms of the Quran. He only had recitations. But there are people that attest to the fact that there was a man called Muhammad historically. Okay,
how come you ain't a Muslim then?
No, you're not getting it. I'm not refuting. Okay, can I ask you a question? Are you saying that I have to deny the historicity of a fact in order to or to if I say historically something happened or historically someone existed, of necessity I must believe that the message of this individual is real or true just because historically he existed or historically he said certain things. That's a falsehood.
So,
I can accept that someone existed. I can accept this was his message and still say that whatever he said was false. So you cannot say that because I accept or acknowledge Muhammad existed and he came with a message, I ought to believe upon him. That is ludicrous.
now you're talking some sense. Yeah, that was great. I love it.
No, so if you
turn that on Jesus.
No, listen.
Yeah,
if you
turn that lens,
Jesus
turn that lens
said
on
that
Jesus.
stuff.
Okay, listen. If
Exactly.
you would do
Yeah,
the
that's
same,
perfect.
no, if you would do the same and rather say you accept there was Jesus, you accept he had disciples, and you accept that whatever he said is so as it is written. But if it's you say it's false, fine. I don't mind.
Wait, we want to know why we should accept that for Jesus based on the criteria and not Muhammad.
No, but wait. Did I at any point infer that the criteria denies the historicity and the accuracy of what Muhammad says about whatever was revealed to him? I've never said that. I've never challenged that.
Yeah, but you have to because you're not a Muslim. You would be a Muslim if you did.
No. You don't have to. For instance, please, let's get this right. I don't have to be a Muslim to accept that Muhammad, number one, existed, and number two, whatever message he brought across was the message he brought across. I can accept this was what he said, but I can say I don't believe what he said. So
Okay.
in the same
So why
vein,
do you believe what Jesus said?
No, listen, that is again contextually based on what I have chosen to believe. So I believe what
So
Jesus
you chose
says.
to believe it.
You're cherry picking.
Yeah,
Because you chose to believe.
You pick and
Okay,
choose.
listen. This ought not to be like some sort of war of attrition where I'm just pouring out everything. It ought not to be, because at the end of the day, what matters here is are Christians inferring from scriptures that they have and from what Jesus himself says, quoting those scriptures, that this is about him. That's what we are
But
inferring.
how do you know that's what Jesus said and not just what anonymous authors in a different language were saying way after Jesus said?
No. Because
That's what.
the intent. Listen. Whether there's internal attribution in those scriptures to those authors or external attribution, we know for historicity or historical facts. For instance, the Epic of Gilgamesh. This is something that is written. When you talk about the works of antiquity, it is ascribed to certain authors. So if it's ascribed to them, you'd only have to challenge that, okay, based on other source material within that time frame, this is not probably the writing style of the person, or this person was not a disciple. But in the case of Jesus, he had disciples. A whole church became
They didn't write
relevant.
anything.
What?
They didn't even write anything. Like, Muhammad has a better case, according to you. Muhammad directly translated stuff and had it written into the Quran, according to history.
No.
And
In the time
Jesus didn't even have that. It wasn't even the disciples recording his stuff firsthand. It was people decades after his death doing it in a completely different language
Sir,
that clearly
that
didn't
is
even
not
have
true.
knowledge of the actual Hebrew text.
That is not true, because in
Luke
Peter,
even
true.
tells you that. Luke even says it
Yeah, it says it.
very plainly
Luke says what?
that he has compiled findings. He never met Jesus.
No, he is
Yeah,
compiling.
it says he
compiling
investigated eyewitness
testimony.
accounts.
Okay. Hello. If you say he is compiling findings, okay, that is consistent with when you have someone doing investigations of
Yeah,
a
but it's
matter.
Yeah,
not him
so
being a
not a
disciple
witness,
and
right?
writing down Jesus's words.
But there
It's
were
called.
disciples
It's called.
at
It's
the time.
literally. It's literally called hearsay. It's hearsay.
Okay. No, there were disciples.
Inadmissible in court. Hearsay.
These
Yeah, not
writings.
anything. You
knew
got a
what was
stronger
written
case
about.
for Islam than you do by your own standards than Christianity.
No, that's false. That's false.
No,
Because,
it's not.
for instance, it's false. It's a claim you're making. The New Testament
No.
writers, okay? No, hello. The New Testament writers, okay? They were in the time of Jesus. They did not
No, they
come
weren't.
100 years later. They didn't come
Yes,
100
they
or
did.
200 years later. The Quran
Yes,
was
they did.
compiled close to 200 years later.
The
The
Bible
Quran was
was
compiled.
compiled in the
It was
4th
oral.
century.
Listen,
The
no,
Bible was
Quran
compiled in the
oral.
4th century.
What do you mean by the Bible? When you say the Bible is compiled, which scriptures are you referring to? Compiled in the 4th century.
The Bible,
books.
it's a compilation, right?
When you say the Bible, are you
Yeah.
saying that for purpose of referencing, for purpose of study, where you compile Old Testament scriptures that existed even before Christ, and compiling New Testament scriptures that were there with the churches together makes it the beginning of the
You
scripture?
said the
No,
Quran was compiled after, and so
because
was
the
the
Quran
Bible,
is
and
one
so
book.
was the Bible.
The Quran is one book. The Bible is multiple. In fact, for the Ethiopian church, there are 88 books. For the Catholic church, there are 73 books. So you cannot say that
That's weird how
the
God would
source.
let that happen. Why would God let that happen?
No, what do you mean by why would God let that happen?
Why would God allow such confusion around his holy book?
No, sir, God is independent of. No,
Sir,
you see,
is
when
it
you
God
talk
breathed
about-
or is it not?
no, when you
Is
say
it is it God
breathed,
is it God breathed or is it
God
not?
inspired. God inspired. When we say someone inspired you to do something, we're not
Yeah.
saying that
Is
the
it
person
is
literally
it God breathed?
wrote it. It
Did
is
God
God
inspire a really
inspired.
crappy written book?
Why would
It's real
God
confusing, it seems
inspire
like.
such confusion among his people?
What confusion? You're the
You've got
ones
you've
that are
got you've got
confused.
a, you've got a difference of 22 books. 88 to 66. That's a pretty wide gap. That's
And they're
33%.
wildly different.
That's a 33%
No,
variance.
sir. Again, that is a false dilemma you're creating because the
No.
independence of book. No, each book, okay, each book can be looked at or examined critically. That's the reason for the councils that sat down to either canonize certain books or say they reject certain books. But each book is independent, and
So if
whatever
scripture is
criteria.
God breathed, if scripture is
No,
God breathed,
whatever the
and you've got
hello.
Ethiopia including all these extra books, are those books also God breathed?
Yes, those books. You see,
Then why
that
do the
is
Protestants and Catholics not include them?
sir. Debates can
How could
exist
the word of
concerning.
God be excluded?
No, debates can exist, and they are allowed to exist concerning the selection of books and the
Yeah, but this
rejection
is your
of books.
God's holy word, right? If God wants
Yes,
people
but
saved,
That sounds
if God
like
wants people saved, why would he put out such a confusing message?
okay, God is
yeah, that
not
sounds
putting
like a
out
bunch of guys
confusing
fighting over
message.
which ones are
No,
actually holy books or
no.
not.
Listen. You see, I want us to look at an analogy here. There are scriptures that were sent to the prophets from time immemorial. The people of Israel rejected some of the prophets. They killed some of the prophets. That is not to attest that God is confused about what he is sending. It is simply that some of the people.
Do you
Oh
know
no,
why
God
they killed some of
lies.
the prophets?
God lies.
Do you know what? Do you know why they
What
killed
do you
some
mean
of the
by God
prophets?
lies?
Well, you can talk to the
Well, he
host.
is a liar.
Yeah, he says he lies. That's why
God
those
is not
prophets.
a liar.
That's why those prophets died, because God put false prophecies in their mouths.
Yeah.
What exactly are you talking about?
I'm talking about Ezekiel.
Oh,
I'm talking about
wow.
Ezekiel 14:9. You don't know that?
And First Kings 22.
And 2 Thessalonians 2:11.
Okay, what exactly are you saying
Well,
with regards to that?
that God purposely confuses people
And lies.
God,
and has his prophets lie so he can kill them.
no, God is not the author of confusion.
Well,
Now,
Yes, he is.
he's the author of deception because he says he deceives.
no, you don't get it when God
Have
says
you
that.
have you read Ezekiel 14:9?
Yes, I have, but when
What
you
does
don't
it
get
say?
hello, sir.
What does it
you
say?
see-
Hello, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? What does it say?
Hey, man.
Can you let me land a point before you?
No, because you
just-
said you know something and I don't believe you. I want you to demonstrate that you know what it says.
So if okay, I just want to put it this way: if God tells
why are you running?
No, I'm not running.
Why are you
If
running?
God
You
tells
said you know what it says.
no,
What does it say?
okay, because you want the understanding of that scripture to be
No,
skewed.
I want the words of it. I know your understanding is going to be bullshit. I already know that, but
You don't
I'm
have to
just
quote
saying.
it. Just tell us what it's
I'm
talking
saying.
about. Yeah, just tell us what's going on in Ezekiel 14. You don't have to
Go ahead
like
and
quote the
teacup and
words.
tell us what you already knew.
Are you there, Cross?
Oh, that wasn't you, was it?
Oh man, no, it wasn't me.
Wow, he laced up.
He's
Damn,
gone
dude.
like Enoch.
That's crazy.
He's out the way
You
of
got
Enoch, people.
caught a ride of the chariot.
I don't know what
Well, that
happened.
was
He probably
Elijah.
did flip
Yeah.
out of the. He probably swiped too far out of the app and it kicked him.
He never
But
teacupped,
oh
though.
yeah, he's requesting back up.
Maybe just disconnected, but he
Yeah,
didn't teacup.
Yeah, he's. I think he pulled out. Hey, sorry, buddy.
Hello.
Oh, yep, he's back. We can hear the vibrating.
No, I kept having calls coming through.
It's all right. Yeah. So, do you know what happens in Ezekiel 14 and what it's talking about? What?
Uh-oh. Another call came in.
This is a popular
Even though
guy.
he's not teacupped or on mute.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. Damn it. Wish he'd hurry up. I only got like 5 or 10 more minutes tops. I've got to clip that one guy from earlier. If I go over 4 hours on the live, I can't download it to the studio thing I got.
Hello.
Got to clip the one guy though, the pastor there. That was pretty funny. Oh, he's gone again. Oh, he's back again. Oh, wait. What's happening there? Listen. Hey, Chase, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, so I actually brought you up on accident, but are you
Oh,
over 18 and are you a Christian?
no, I'm actually not. I was just gonna come because I was listening, and I was gonna say, like, you literally, when speaking to Christians, you have to break stuff down like dummy style because they are quite literally. I don't understand. They're just like slow in the head. Like even if you ask them, do you think that God can do good or do evil? And they'll say no. But then in the book of Isaiah, it says that I am the God that does good and evil. So it's like it's in your
The
face.
pastor earlier actually said that.
Yeah, it's in your
Interestingly
face.
enough.
So it's like I don't understand what they're not understanding. Oh, he's back.
Yeah, that's. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to. Well, sorry, Chase. No,
Just
she's
keep me.
absolutely right. I was actually. Yeah, sorry. I was watching a Professor Dave video earlier where it was talking to a guy and he was talking about how you have to talk to like climate deniers and stuff. He said you have to talk to them like they're a genius, even though they're clearly not. That you have to be like, yeah, but you know,
Yeah. But I don't think it's a matter of being like slow per se. I think it's more
Same.
the thing you have to do to preserve your position is just intellectually dishonest. Right? So that's going to come off as being like denying obvious facts and stuff like that and pretending words don't mean words. You know, all the stuff we hear all the time. I don't know that necessarily equates to like a mental deficiency as much as it is just having to preserve that belief.
100. Cross, we got like 5 more minutes, man. So, real quick, tell us what Ezekiel 14 is about.
No, I will get to it. Can I have like a minute because there's a call that keeps on coming in. I just have to tell the person to hold on so that I can continue with the live. Can I do that?
Oh, sure. Yeah, real quick. Where we at here? Yeah, we're still good. Technically, I got like 7 minutes. So Same, yeah. That's why I usually, or at least lately, I have been keeping a bonus topic up here that always I just kept pointing to for like the last several lives that says Christians can't be honest with the text. Every single time, words don't be words, just like you were saying. Every time, almost every time. He said, "Can you hold on? I'm over here schooling some evil heathen atheists. I'll call you back."
Like, buddy, I got him in the ropes.
He's like, "There's some devil worshippers I'm talking to on the line." I'm not even like, I'll even give them like a lot of leeway there and say it's not even totally just dishonesty. Like I was literally, if I never would have put myself in one of these positions up here like this, but if I was in one, I'm not too sure I would have been a whole lot different than this guy, honestly. Just not because I was lying, just because like it has to be this way. You know what I mean? Like it's until you somehow break that like psychological wall.
Yeah, but I mean that is dishonesty though when you get down to it, right? When you know, it's not that you're setting out, you're not that you're setting out to deceive, but you are not acknowledging reality and truth. That's still dishonest. Like it's a different it's a different degree of it, I guess.
I'm telling you, I know that feeling though, man. I know that.
Oh yeah,
feeling.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like your brain will just not allow you to understand. Like I've had I can remember at least 2 times in my life where my mom was like literally in my face, just like we are with these guys, and she's like, "Hello, motherfucker! Like, look what's going on." I was just like, "What? That can't be right." So, I mean, yeah, I wish it wasn't true, but it is. But that's why I call myself an idiot a whole lot. Dude, I swear, I spent half my life like Forrest Gump. Somebody just be like, "Hey, do this." I'm like, "Okay." Didn't even think about it.
Run. Okay. Scores a touchdown.
I'm serious, man. I've done some super stupid shit. But now I realize that I'm that stupid. And it almost made me smart by realizing I'm stupid. Because now I know I need more facts to go on. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, I'm gonna have to re-examine this wall I've hit again. Like,
am I a dummy?
Uh-oh, he's gone again.
Oh, boy.
I was a dummy. I say it all the time. I'm still a dummy. I just realize I'm a dummy now, and I don't seem like it because I don't act on being a dummy.
Yeah.
If anything, I guess. Darn it. I guess he's not coming back, but...
We lost a good one.
Tell you what, we'll give him like another full minute here and see what happens. If not, I'll go ahead and chop this one. That way I can make sure I clip out the Pastor Duke there.
That was crazy.
Man, do you ever... I've gotten so many like the gifted memberships. Like I've got one for Justin, for Bezo, for Joel. I just got one for Aaron Raw. I got Aaron Raw. I just got a notification
on YouTube.
I'm getting all the free memberships. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't spend much time on YouTube.
Yeah, good point.
The stuff I watch on YouTube is not like theological stuff. I'm like, most of my algorithm is like gardening or like home improvement shit, or like kind of like you do that and then it kind of throws you into like the prepper algorithm, and it's like, oh, okay, boy, yeah, it gets weird. It gets weird pretty quick. But
do you do a lot of gardening?
Yeah, I've got like four big raised beds, and then I've got like a little orchard with like I think like 23 fruit trees. And then
shit. That's awesome.
And then I've got a bunch of vines, like I've got grapes, muscadines, blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, honeyberries. Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff going on.
That's awesome. I actually love gardening too, but my garden's all aesthetic. Like I got like bonsai and Japanese maples and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna start like getting some indoor plants, like start doing that, but not so much for the aesthetic. Just like I'm very practical when it comes to garden. That's why I don't have like I don't really have like ornamentals. Like everything I have is like everything I've planted, right? I still have like other trees that were here when I bought the place, but like I've got a beautiful dogwood tree that I won't take it down for because of the space or anything, but like it really serves no benefit for me more than aesthetics. But I typically, if I'm buying something, it's either gonna feed me or feed something else.
That's awesome. My wife grows a bunch of stuff. She grows a lot of her own vegetables, but I just like bonsais and stuff like that. That's her.
I mean, they're
like
really
the tranquility.
Cool. Yeah, you can't deny the coolness of a bonsai.
They're hard, man. It's a lot of damn work. Like I tell people all the time, keeping up with the trees I got's harder than keeping the koi pond maintained. And,
you got a koi
that's
pond.
just
That's
little
fine.
trees.
Yeah. Are they? Do they? What are they like? What's their deal? Do they get like sick easy or something? Like what makes them difficult?
The pond you just have to like.
Well, no, the trees.
Well, I'm not able to set up like a natural filter, so I have to like every morning you have to backwash the pump, like to keep the water clear. Go out and feed them, like check the water and stuff like that. They don't get sick that much though.
I was talking about the trees. Like I don't know if the trees are like fickle, but are you just saying like keeping up with like the trimming?
Yes, they are. You have to water them. Well, they're not technically buried in like regular soil. You basically put them in little rocks.
Yeah.
So you have to keep them, especially out here in the sun and stuff. You have to keep them moist at all times. Like if you go one day without water them, some of them will die. And that's years of work going down the drain. Hold on a second. I'll walk out here and maybe I can show you before.
You have to get like a. Do you do any kind of like automation?
Automate? What do you mean by automation?
Like automated watering or anything like that?
Oh no, I wish that'd be a bitch to set up, but it would be nice.
Yeah, I do a lot of that stuff. I'm into that kind of thing too. That aspect of it, of like try to make these things as.
It's one of my tattoos. I don't know why I came on the screen there. Good Lord, how do I get the background off here? Oh, here we go. Yeah, I had to tear part of a deck down, but here we are.
Oh, damn. That's like a legit koi pond. That's the real deal.
Oh, yeah.
Did you get a wider shot?
Yeah,
that's really nice.
I guess I can't. I thought I can, but I can't.
I mean, that's...
But, I ended up.
We had like goes around the whole thing.
Bad on this deck, and we had to tear it off. Yeah, so we just tore that. Ended up having to tear a bunch of the deck off the other day. But yeah, we got one over here.
Is that like surrounded? It's like a peninsula. Like the deck
yeah,
is like
my back porch. Yeah, it's on my back.
I mean, like the water goes all the way around the.
Oh no, it's just two separate ponds.
Oh, okay.
And then we got the porch built around it right here. But yeah, this is my. Like that's a big old azalea I got there. I wish the camera's not normal, but it's one of my ficuses. Then I got but it just goes around the porch here.
And those are your bonsais?
But yeah. I got a bunch of different ones. Looks like a pine I pulled off the side of the road that was falling over actually and growing back, and I cut it and it made that crazy thing in there.
Yeah, that's wild.
Then there's one just a Japanese maple. That one's.
I had a Japanese maple at my last house.
These are just little Christmas trees from Rose.
In my last house, I had a Japanese maple.
Little normal ones. Oh, they're amazing, man.
Yeah.
Like I got some, maybe you can
green
see
one. I had a green one too, and then I planted a red one in the front, but it was still small when I sold the house.
Those ones are really nice. I got a real nice one over there, and then I got this pot right here. That pot right there alone weighs like 40 pounds. Like that one's a huge tree I put in that pot. I wish you could see it better. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's just a lot of work. It usually takes me, I don't know, 30 minutes in the mornings to water them all and do the ponds and all that stuff.
So how many koi do you have, do you think? 30 something at least.
A bunch of them's goldfish. There's probably like 12 koi in there.
Okay. Oh, I see. Like the white spotted.
Some of
ones, those
these,
are
like
cooler. And the red ones.
like
and
that
the
one right
gray.
there. Oh yeah, I got a
Yeah.
bunch of different kinds. That's the biggest one right there, that gold one.
That's a beast.
It's
Yeah.
probably 12, 13,
Neck
14
and neck
pounds.
with the other one. Yeah, that one's
Yeah,
pretty
some
big
of these
too.
little guys right here, these little orange ones and stuff, some of these were like that long when I got them 2 or 3 years ago. So I mean, they've
Are they
quadrupled in
propagating or?
size there. The goldfish do sometime, but not that much. Most of the time, their eggs won't stick. You gotta put like you gotta put like some grass in there, something for the
You
egg to
gotta have
stick
some
to,
kind of
or
surface that it can grab on. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Or they'll just kind of float around and won't really get fertilized because they're not like in a location to get fertilized. But yeah, these are some cool little trees I got over here. I keep them all. Some of my maples and stuff. That's a cat. Cat ass.
Every garden needs a keeper.
That's right. But that's my back porch tour there. I got a few little trees. This one's a wisteria vine that I saw got knocked over in a ditch. I just pulled that thing out of a ditch and stuck it in that little pot there. And I've been keeping it trimmed like a tree.
I was
It's
gonna say,
actually
be
a
careful with
wisteria vine.
wisteria. That's invasive as hell. I guess
Oh
there's two
yeah,
kinds,
I got
like there's Japanese and Chinese. I think the Japanese is not invasive, but the Chinese is.
This is probably it because it grows like crazy. Like I have to come out here literally every other day, and there'll be like a vine shoot. You just cut off
You
the
get like
vine
the
shoots,
you
but
get the
they'll
purple
be like
pods.
10 inches long almost in a day or two.
They're beautiful, like purple flowers, right?
Oh yeah, they're really really nice. You can keep them trimmed in those treat forms, like those two. There's wisteria also. You just keep
Yeah,
them. You
they.
gotta keep them trimmed though.
Yeah, I went on a crusade against the wisteria on my property because it was like when I bought the place, it was like completely just overrun. And I guess I did a pretty good job because I don't see it anymore. But the problem is the English ivy replaced it.
Oh
And
shit! Yeah,
that
that would
English
be a
ivy
good
is that English ivy will like strangle whatever you have. It's vicious.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I do got some lights and stuff in the pond. I saw somebody in the comments there asking, but I got some lights up
Yeah.
here too, like strung up, so it's pretty neat. But eventually, when it's not cold as shit in the mornings, I'll probably start doing lives out here again. Like I usually set my camera up.
Oh yeah.
Like I'll sit like right here, and then the camera just kind of says, "This is how I started my lives." Actually, was out here on the porch, just chilling. Then I moved into the house and started doing the backgrounds when it got cold in the winter. But all right, guys. Well, there's the backyard tour of the ape's house. So that's pretty neat. But I'm going to jump off here just in time to be able to clip the pastor there. I think. Actually, I don't know shit. But anyway, guys, we'll catch y'all. I reckon I'll be on tomorrow, and we will catch y'all then. So peace
All
out.
right, man.
Let's
Good
go
hanging with
raid.
you.
I think Christ Before Jesus is on right now.
Mama Bash is
There we
live.
go, guys. We will catch. Ooh, Mama Bash. Oh yeah, let's check out Mama Bash too. Oh, he was requesting back up finally. It's too late, man. I gotta go. Oh, Duke was requesting back up too. Shit. I wish I had more time, but I don't. Y'all come back tomorrow, please. I'll be back on tomorrow, and y'all come back, talk to us more.